That was so weak.
That was
but
mid.
it was
That was
mid. That was
mid,
mid, as the
bruh.
kids say. Merry Christmas, everybody. Welcome to the Christmas Countdown Show. You've made it. We are here for episode number 9 of
Lucky
season
number
4.
9, yeah.
Lucky number 9, 9 Lords of Leaping.
Yeah, actually.
How did we never talk about that before?
Have we
with our
never
numbers?
done that? People send us messages like that all the time. Like, how did someone never do this? Or how did you never say that? But you're right. How have we never called the episode like, this is our Partridge in a Pear Tree episode. This is our Two Turtle Doves.
Yeah.
We're doing it now, and that's what
We're doing
matters.
it now, and that's all that matters. And what Danny and I were referring to, if you haven't watched the show on YouTube, is we've figured out that there's a nice little bum, 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 bum. And so we do a little high five, and we missed a little.
It's a bro moment. It's a bruh.
It's a bruh
Wait,
moment.
do you... Now, question, going back to the last episode, because we were really showing our age in the last episode. So if you were to be like, oh, that was a bro moment, is it still a bro moment, or is it now a bruh moment?
I think a bro moment.
But you call somebody
But
bruh.
you call somebody bro.
Okay.
Yeah.
On it.
Speaking of our theme song, we got a video on the Facebook page from one of our listeners. I don't remember who it was. I don't know if you saw it. They were walking through Rockefeller Center, I think.
Oh, really?
And they were watching a video on YouTube of people walking through Rockefeller Center. And it was just like one of those, somebody was just had their phone up. And I don't know if the person on the YouTube video had used our music or if it was playing in Rockefeller Center.
Oh, really?
But our intro music was somehow on this video. And the person on the Facebook group was like, I heard your music and it made me get excited.
Did you know, I don't know if we've ever revealed this on the show, but the source of our
I don't know what
music.
the source is.
Well, I mean, obviously I wrote it, but no. Wouldn't that be incredible? I'm actually a composer and I've been keeping it secret for all these years. No, it actually is from YouTube. So YouTube has this like royalty-free audio library, and season 1, I was just like trying to find us a song because we knew we couldn't just play Michael Bublé at the top of every show. He'd probably have a problem with that. Not necessarily him, but his record label. And so I went onto YouTube and I looked up like Christmas music. Yeah. And I found this song.
And it's perfect.
And it just works.
It does.
And I love that people associate it with us.
Yeah.
I wonder if the person who wrote it has any idea.
I know. If they're like, what's that super successful podcast?
I never should have offered this as royalty free. What a
Missing out.
missed opportunity.
But welcome, folks. Here we are. This is episode 9. We only have 2 episodes left of this season, so we are very close to the big day, as they say.
This is the penultimate, as you like to say.
Oh, such a great word.
Yeah.
Penultimate. And today we have a great topic.
The next 2 weeks.
Yes, 2 weeks. We've been building towards this topic for years.
Since I was 14.
That's right. Our topic today is the top 10. It's a top 10 music list.
Yes.
But we are splitting the top 10. Danny is doing top 10 boy band songs, and I'm doing top 10 punk rock songs.
Pop punk rock or just punk rock?
They're mostly pop punk, but there's a little bit of just straight up punk.
This is the most pressure I've ever put on myself for
a
countdown in the history of our show. Hands down.
Sure. Well,
it's not only personal pressure, but like I feel like because for the last 4 years on the show, I've been like, I'm the boy band guy. We need a boy band list. Like I felt like I really needed to step it up, and we'll get to it a little bit more when we get to that part.
Tell me this: was it pressure in that, like, what are the 10 songs I'm going to pick, or what order I'm going to put them in? Or
everything,
both?
everything about this. I also wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything.
Sure. Yeah.
Because like, do I reveal this now? Like, this is. It feels like it organically wants to come up in this moment. Let's just give it to the people.
Sure.
So I don't know if you knew this because you're not as big into boy bands as I am.
Sure.
But not a lot of boy bands actually released Christmas albums. Like historically, like if you go and look up like O-Town, LFO, BB Mac, Element, Five. Like I could keep going.
I had you for the first 3. Who's Element and Five?
You don't know Element?
No.
So Element, the fun story about Element here, and I really was going to save this deep dive for later in the episode, but I'm just going to give it to you all now. So if you are a 90s kid, you are giggling and laughing along. Some people know Element. Some people are listening like, I know Element. So you remember the show Making the Band?
Yes.
Made O-Town, right?
Yes.
Well, the cast-offs from that show,
who didn't make the band.
One of which was actually in the band.
Okay.
Made the band. Akaika.
Okay.
Kohuanu from Hawaii. Do you remember him?
No.
Remember Akaika made the group.
All I remember is Ashley something.
Ashley Parker Angel, who went to star on Broadway.
Yes.
And now is a fitness model, apparently, with his own supplements. Don't look his page up while you're around children. Anyway, so O-Town became Dan, Eric, Jacob, Trevor, and Ashley.
Of course.
Right? But Dan wasn't originally in the group. A guy named Akaika was in the group. But then it was big drama on the show. And now as a TV producer, I'm like, this was all set up.
Sure.
But like he made the group, and then like his family flew out from Hawaii and were like, you can't do this.
No
you
boy
can't be in
bands.
this group. And so he left the group.
Why did they not want him to be in the group?
I don't know. They just felt like he was going to lose like connection
himself.
to his roots
Sure.
and like his culture and all these things. So then there's this scene on Making the Band. Maybe you watched the show.
I have seen the show.
Do you remember there was this episode where they were at the movie theater?
I don't.
This is not supposed to be like a deep dive into Making the Band, but I'm just going to give it to you real quick. So they're at the movie theater, the 4 who are left. Jacob, Ashley, Eric, Trevor. And their manager's walking around. They're like, who do you think should replace Akaika? And they all whisper in his ear. And they all said, Dan Miller. And so they
Because he had been another contestant on
He
the
was
show?
a finalist on the show.
Gotcha.
And like great vibe, great voice,
Sure.
very soulful. He's the guy with like sort of like the skinny beard.
Sure.
You know, Dan Miller
Yeah.
from
of
Ohio.
course. Oh, Dan Miller.
Now that I say
Okay,
it,
yes, Dan
you know
Miller.
exactly what I'm talking about. So anyway, Dan joins the group. But Element was Akaika, a guy named Mike, I think a guy named Brian, and this other guy. They formed a group called Element.
Okay.
They had a song called Hey Juliet. Hey Juliet, hey Juliet, I think you'll fly. Anyway,
Yep.
So no Christmas album for Element is the moral of the story. Little did you know you were going to get
People wanted it.
this
How
deep
could they
dive
not
dissertation
How could they not do it?
on boy bands. And so anyway, not a lot of boy bands released Christmas albums.
Sure.
And we'll go deeper into that. So it was challenging.
Can
really,
you tell
is the
me
moral
this?
of the
And
story.
maybe you don't have to if you don't want to. But is there any Boys to Men on there?
Eric,
You want to save that answer?
I do. I've spoiled so much. I've
Okay.
given the people
All right.
so much out
All
of the
right.
gates, and I
Save it.
want to keep them coming
Save it.
back after the break.
I hope that
as-
there's some Boys to Men on there.
You're going to find out when we get there.
'Cause that's a
and
great album.
this, I'm so excited. So much pressure. I wanted to make sure there was equal representation. I wanted to make sure that I left no boy band stone unturned.
Sure.
And maybe there's a boy band name in there somewhere. They could have called
No Stone Unturned.
Boy Stone. The Stone Boys. Stonies. No, that's questionable. Anyway,
He's reaching.
yeah, I'm reaching real deep into that boy band well. But anyway, I'm excited for the countdown.
It's going to be a good one. And I got some good pop punk songs.
I'm excited for yours.
I will be honest, I dipped into a few previous lists.
Ooh.
Just like 1 or 2 songs.
So maybe
just 'cause
some
they were
Reliant K in there.
A
Maybe.
little bit of Reliant K
Okay.
in there. Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, Reliant K may have been bumped.
Woo!
I think it got bumped
Really?
to 11.
Wow.
I know, shocking.
I love Reliant K.
I do too.
So darn much. I went and saw MXPX play recently, who was
Nice.
like my favorite punk band growing up, and Reliant K opened for them
Nice.
on the show, which was, and I was
Nice.
like, Sadie Hawkins dance in my khaki pants. I was geeking out so
love it.
hard.
It's going to be a good one.
Anyway, welcome everybody.
Yes, welcome. We should say hello to Emilio.
I guess we should.
Emilio is over there.
He's at a boy band concert.
He's at a boy band
I
concert.
knew he was a fan.
I love
Random that he's at an Element show. Isn't that?
it. Now he's got
You
to
can't
find a
find that
picture of
photo
Element.
anywhere. I want you in their album art. I want Emilio standing next to them with like cut off shirts and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, showing his tats off.
He's laughing the whole time. No, Emilio, give us a boy band.
Yeah, I love that. And we got Chris Sisley coming to us live from Brooklyn on the 1s and 2s.
Chris,
How goes it?
Hello. It goes so well.
Do we got
So
snow
well.
in New York yet?
We actually, this is I went to cut my Christmas tree down on Black Friday, and it snowed while we were there cutting the tree down.
Amazing.
Snow way.
Snow way,
Yeah, it
bro.
was the coolest possible scenario.
Literally.
I love that.
Yes.
I went to the Grove last night,
Did you?
and we saw the big man
Ooh.
and delivered our lists,
Ooh.
which was good. Got our picture and our ornament and everything.
That's awesome.
And I love that they make it snow there. Have you ever been to the Grove when they make it snow?
I honestly, I think I've maybe been to the Grove at Christmas time once, and I was like my early 20s.
It's awesome.
Is it?
It is so great. They have tons of lights, obviously. The Santa's Village is beautiful. They do a really good job. They're efficient in the way that they get people through, which
That's
is
key.
great. Love
Yeah.
that. You have to make a reservation, so like you're not waiting in like the long lines that
Right.
sometimes at a mall Santa you have to deal with. But at 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock they blast like 17 snowmakers all throughout
Oh
the
my
Grove.
gosh.
And they also have a huge Santa in the sleigh with 8 reindeer and a Rudolph that like remember in the movie Prancer when there's like the
I've never seen it.
what? Wait.
I told you this season
Yes,
one.
but
it
I
was one of
thought
your
it
top
by
10.
now you would have seen it.
Bro, I
Oh my
haven't.
God.
I know.
Okay.
Bruh.
You got to see Prancer, first of all. But they're like really big sized reindeer.
Okay.
So it's like a big like sleigh that's hanging above you.
Yeah.
But they do good job, and they had like a brass band playing, and
my
it was
gosh.
great. But I got to tell you,
Okay.
Santa last night, he kind of teased me a little bit about my
Ooh.
outfit.
What were you wearing?
I was wearing a very nice green plaid suit. It's in fact the suit that I wore to the opening of Christmas Story last year.
Is this the one you wanted to wear for our music video, but we were
Yes.
worried about it
Yes.
causing an issue with the green
it
screen?
could have been
Okay.
a problem. So it's like a dark forest green
Yeah.
and black, like kind of buffalo print, but with green and black.
Great
as opposed to
looking
red
suit.
and black.
Yeah.
Great looking suit. And he goes, "Where's St. Patrick?" And I was like, "Listen,
Whoa.
St. Nick, I'm
Snarky
here for you.
Snarky Claus.
I got a little red pocket square. I had a red boutonniere. I was like, I'm Christmas-fied out."
Oh my gosh.
But he gave me a little
He
bit
was
of
giving you the business.
A little bit of the business.
Maybe he recognized you.
I will say Santa may have recognized me last year, but Santa recognizes everybody.
He does.
Because that's his job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's true.
But yeah, he gave me a little bit of the business about my green suit.
Wow.
But then he was great with the kids.
So are you next year going to go back with a red version of that suit?
Yeah, I think so. And
I
just
feel
be
like
like,
you have to.
"Is this better, Santa?"
Did he like were you at risk of being on the naughty list, do you think, or no?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think I'm safe. But speaking of the naughty list, oh my gosh. I know we have stuff to get to, but this just
We have a
occurred
lot.
to me.
We have a guest.
We have a guest today. We have a big guest.
We have a huge guest.
We have the guest.
We have the guest, and we'll reveal that in a moment.
Yes, let me tell you this quick thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've been seeing this on TikTok, and Emilio and Chris, if you guys have seen this, there is at Disney World, they have their Christmas parade, right? And there is a character in the new parade, which I think maybe has been around, but just now over the last couple of weeks is going viral.
Really?
And this is Tally the Elf.
Wait, what?
Tally the Elf, Tally. It is this guy who plays him who has a southern accent, and he kind of talks like this. He's a sassy elf.
Okay.
And he's just a part of the parade, and he's in very classic elf costume. He's got like kind of a red fluffy wig on, and he's got a checklist and a big pencil, and he runs up to people throughout the parade, and he'll go, "What's your name?" People go, "Brian." And he'll go, Brian. Naughty. And then everybody will laugh, and he'll go, "Brian, you still got time, Brian. You still got time."
Oh, that's
and then
great.
He leaves. But he does basically the same thing everywhere, but it is the most charming, spectacular thing. If you've not seen it, go search on, I'm sure it's on Instagram now too, Tally the Elf, Disney World.
Is he called Tally because he's like the list?
I didn't think of it, but I think you're totally right.
Wow.
And sometimes with like kids, he'll be like, "What's your name?" And they'll be like, "Jessica." And he's like, "Jessica, nice." Or he'll say, "Naughty. Jessica, I'm going to help you out." And he'll erase their name, and then he'll change it to the nice
Oh,
list.
that's brilliant.
It's so adorable, and he's such a fun character. I'm like a little worried that Disney's going to shut him down because he's becoming too popular.
You can't shut down
but
Tally.
Tally the Elf. Make sure you check that out.
Justice for Tally.
Yes.
Anyway, should I reveal now?
Yes, who our big guest is?
I'm sure people have seen it in the episode description.
Sure.
But the big man himself from up north, Santa J. Claus, is joining us on this episode. I'm so excited to check in with Santa, hear how things are coming along.
Busy time.
There at the workshop. As he likes to say, they're full steam ahead
Yeah.
at this point in time.
I'm amazed that he could fit us in this hour.
I think that's how popular we are, is
you're
that
right.
Santa knows us and loves us and wants to connect with people all around the world through our show. So we're excited to have Santa. Got a lot of questions to ask Santa today.
Indeed.
So excited for that. But anyway, if you are new to the show, welcome to Christmas Countdown. This is Eric, as you said. This is me, Danny. If you have not subscribed to the show, please make sure you do so. And wherever you're listening, please rate and review. We love to read those reviews on the show, and the ratings really do help to boost up the show in the various platforms. And if you are on Apple, it's super easy. Just scroll down. There's like a stars icon. You just click 5 stars. If you want to leave us a review, do so. If not, just leave the stars, and we'll accept it. If you want to leave 1 star, because that's how you feel about us, then whatever.
It's okay.
Tally's coming for you,
That's
and
right.
you're on the naughty list.
Naughty.
Anyway, you can also follow us on social media at Christmas Countdown Show on Instagram, TikTok, Threads. You can watch full episodes. So if you want to see Emilio hanging out with the boy bands, which he's actually hanging out with that random boy, BB Mac, the British boy band, hanging
Is that
out.
a 2-person boy band?
3.
Okay.
There were 2 guys who played guitar, and then you had the guy
Are they
saying,
twins?
Nah. They just look similar.
Okay.
A lot of boy bands look similar.
Sure.
That was sort of a requirement.
Yeah.
Sort of like being a rockette,
Yeah.
essentially. And you can see all the fun and silliness that happens here on our show. Go to youtube.com/Countdown Network. The link is also in the episode notes. And when you're there, you can also check out Disney Countdown.
Yes, indeed.
Which is our sister show hosted by the Magical Millennial and the Dapper Danielle. They do all Disney-themed countdown lists, and right now they're doing holiday. They're just, I think, in the middle of their Disney holiday movies.
Crossover.
And they're about to hit their top 5, which is very, very exciting.
Love that.
So check them out.
We should talk about the Patreon.
Let's do it, Eric, please.
We have some new members of the Patreon. So first of all, if you don't know what Patreon is, because we have some folks who might not be as internet... what's the word I'm looking for? Literate.
Yeah, they're not bros.
They're not bros. Patreon is basically a site that you can join, which basically there's lots of different creators. You can support them at different levels, a couple bucks a month, and you get special features, you get bonus episodes, you get access to them, pictures, videos, all that kind of fun stuff.
Yep.
So we have a Patreon, so you can definitely follow us there. And when you do, you get a fun shout out from us, and we have a new member shout out to Charlene. Merry Christmas, Charlene.
I love how every one of our new Patreons this year, I want to make them from Boston.
They're all from Boston.
I know Charlene's not because I just mailed her something the other day.
Where is she from? Can you give me a state?
Oh, gosh.
See if I can do an
Hold
accent.
on. Can I remember I'm so sorry, Charlene. I'd
Is
be
she
put on
from
this.
Minnesota? Charlene.
She's not from Minnesota.
Is she from California, man?
She's
hey,
not
Charlene.
from California, man.
She's from Texas.
I'm feeling really
Hi, Charlene.
bad in
Merry
this moment.
Christmas.
Hold on. Can I pull up?
Is she from Georgia?
I want you to keep
Merry
going.
Christmas, Charlene.
Keep going.
Is she from New York? Hey, Merry Christmas, Charlene.
Charlene!
Is she from Chicago?
my
Merry
gosh.
Christmas, Charlene.
You know what they do not make it easy on the Patreon app? This is my one gripe with Patreon.
Sure.
Is that you cannot easily view people who back you. You can't easily view their profile.
That seems
You got to
bad
go
design.
to the website, and then once you go to the website, see, I'm pulling. Look at her page.
Sure. We should
No
be able to see
address
it.
there. So I got to go to patreon.com, and I don't know if people want to hear me navigating Patreon. They may want to hear more accents from you.
Hopefully, I think I've run out of my accents. But
Did you? Maybe she's from Canada.
do you like the hockey up there? Hey, Charlene, Merry Christmas.
Maybe she's from Ireland. I'm still working.
Merry
I'm
Christmas
almost.
there to you, Charlene.
I'm so close.
Or perhaps she's from Scotland.
Maybe she is.
Merry Christmas, Charlene.
Oh, Charlene's the best. Maybe she's from Germany.
Yeah, very.
Oh my gosh, we just lost all of
Wait,
our.
what is
Eric, I'm almost there.
Wait, what do they say in Germany?
Prost.
Prost?
Okay, I found her state.
Where's she from?
Rhode Island.
Rhode Island. That's kind of Massachusetts, so it would be Merry Christmas, Charlene.
Charlene.
It's where we started.
What a long road we just took to get to Rhode Island.
But
Thank you,
Charlene. Thanks for being a member of the Patreon.
My gosh, what a road that was.
That was great.
And sorry, Germany.
That's right.
We are
Yeah, very sorry.
Prost.
Very sorry.
So thank you, Charlene. And speaking of those reviews that we were just chatting about, we have
a few.
couple that have come in.
Let's do it.
Do you want to take the first one here?
Sure. Now, okay, I have a question, Danny.
Yeah.
Looking at our document here.
Yes.
Is that 5 golden stars or is it 5 empty stars? Is it a no star review? Because what I'm seeing here, and I don't know if this is a copy and paste issue.
It was a copy and paste
Okay,
issue.
great.
Yeah.
So we're going to call it 5 golden stars.
5
'Cause right now
empty
it's
stars.
5 empty stars is what
Nope.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. This is from Australia.
It's from Shannon.
From Shannon.
Shannon.
From Australia. I don't do the best Australian, but I'll do my best.
It might be better than your German.
All right, here we go. Here we go. Love for all things Christmas. 5 golden stars. That was bad. I love this podcast. So happy I found it, and I'm incredibly blessed to feel like I have a new Christmas family of like-minded people to share my obsession with. Whilst I can't quite grasp the concept of a snowy winter wonderland, being from Australia, LOL, where we have hot sunny days in the pool, eating prawns and cold turkey sandwiches.
Wow.
I love the authentic traditional vibes this podcast offers and the overall 100% positive viewpoint on Christmas. Keep up the fantastic Christmas vibes. Thank you all for all that you provide. Shannon. Shannon, I'm sorry that I gave you a very,
That was very aggressive.
very aggressive,
Yeah.
not even like a surfer Australian. It's like a guy is out in the doing a walkabout.
Is he like a fisherman,
guide.
you think?
He's like a guide that like
in
is
the
a
bush?
hunter in the bush.
Oh, yeah.
That's the only Australian I can do.
Maybe Shannon's voice sounds like that.
But maybe, Shannon, you sound like that. But regardless, Shannon, Merry Christmas. Thank you very much.
Yes.
We're glad that we love especially hearing the reviews from around the world. Very cool.
It's so cool. It's so cool. Thank you, Shannon. So this next review is actually one that was posted on YouTube because this individual, who's a member of our Patreon,
yes, and
we've talked about on the show before, Sasha, who's in New York, who was the one who introduced me to those really cool, like huge C9 light bulb, like porch lights.
Yep.
So for some reason, Sasha's been trying to post this on Apple, but it's not working. So Sasha sent us a message and it's like, where else can I post this so you guys see it? So Sasha posted this.
We love the dedication.
Love the dedication. And this was on YouTube. So Sasha says, I have found my Christmas people. Yeah. Listening to Danny and Eric's Christmas podcast feels like stepping into my own magical Hallmark movie. It's like gathering around the tree with Clark Griswold level enthusiasm, Buddy the Elf's heart, and just the right sprinkle of Grinchy snark to balance out the holiday cheer. Eric and Danny are true Santa MVPs, jolly, insightful, and clearly running on the good stuff. Hot cocoa, but it might also be sheer Christmas spirit. Every episode makes me want to wrap myself in twinkle lights and binge watch all my favorite Christmas classics while simultaneously debating the finer points of Die Hard being a Christmas movie or not. Just to be clear, it obviously is a Christmas movie. Sasha,
okay. Strong
that
opinion.
is a hot take.
Strong opinion.
Wow, but we appreciate it. We like opinions here. If you love Christmas as much as Kevin McAllister loves a good booby trap, that's great. What a great line.
That's a great line.
That needs to be on our website.
Yes.
This podcast is for you. It's funny, heartfelt, and packed with enough Yuletide joy to make even Scrooge crack a smile. Thanks to Danny and Eric, I've discovered a whole new level of holiday obsession. Keep the chestnuts roasting, the episodes coming, and creating ripples in the world. The listener is all in for a holly jolly good time. Sasha from New York City.
That was a good callback to our early.
He just kept calling him back.
Be the ripple.
I know. Ripple, ripple, ripple. What a great review.
That is a great review.
Yeah, I love that
Thank you, Sasha. That is awesome.
Sasha, you are amazing.
Merry Christmas.
Sasha just posted that video in our Facebook group recently of, I guess it was a few years ago, they shot a video of his daughter. They have a friend
the
who
taxi cab one?
Yes.
That was so cool.
So Sasha lives in New York, as we shared, and one of Sasha's friends, I guess, has one of those yellow cabs like the one Kevin rides into the city in Home Alone 2. And so they shot this whole video of her like searching for the perfect Christmas tree.
Yeah. And going
in New
into
York.
the city.
Yeah. But we should try to find a link to it if it's not like an unlisted video and share that out in our episode notes so people can see it. It's absolutely brilliant. So thank you, Sasha. We appreciate you.
Yes. Merry Christmas. All right. We got one more here.
I think we have two more. These are emails that have come in.
Okay, here we go.
A good one.
All right, this is an email, fan mail from Brittany.
Okay.
Here we go. It says, I have always been a Christmas fanatic, even though they weren't the best of memories from growing up. Everything from the rough winters in the suburbs out from Chicago. Yes, I know it. The decorations, the music, and how each song practically filled my soul all the way down to building snowmen and hoping they would really come to life. When I came across this Christmas Countdown podcast, it became a tradition of waiting for the new episodes to drop leading up to Christmas. This last episode sent me to tears as you spoke about losing your family dog, as I had also lost my pit bull 9 months ago. He was my heart, and the idea of Christmas without him really hurt. Every year, we'd get the tree out, and he'd be so excited because he knew that meant he'd get a bunch of toys at some point, the end of the month, LOL. We would wrap his toys, and he would tear through them like he knew what was up. When your episode would drop, since I started listening he would lay on the couch wrapped up in a blanket while I put the decor up and hand him a treat now and then between his naps. I really love how raw you both are on the podcast and really remind me that we all are human and all have these very real situations that can and will happen in life. Many times I can't help but wonder, why me? Or why am I going through this right now or again? But hearing someone else speak so openly about something that is very near to me, and I have also been through, healed a part of me that I didn't know I needed. So thank you so much for that. Now I listen with my 2 kittens to ease that pain. Thanks for all that you do as you touch so many lives. If you guys have seen this email, I feel like it's a perfect opportunity to request a review or partial segment of Cher's Christmas album last year. It's my favorite Christmas album, but it also is kind of not serious. but I don't hear anyone talking about it. Thanks again for everything you do each year, Brittany.
Oh.
Brittany, that's awesome. And I'm glad that I think it does help to connect to people about hard stuff, because it doesn't. I don't want to say it doesn't get easier, but it doesn't go away. Our great doggy Simon left us about 2 weeks ago now, 3 weeks ago, and it still is really hard, and it still is really quiet in the house. So I know that you're probably still feeling it and missing your little pit bull. So Merry Christmas, and think of the memories and look at pictures and celebrate the time that we had with them. But we will listen to Cher's Christmas album.
Yes, I remember there's a song on the album about like something on the dance floor. There was like
we did talk. I feel like we
chatted
did
a little
talk
bit
about that
it as
song.
like our news segment. I think it was last season.
Okay, yeah.
I remember bringing it up in a news segment.
Yeah.
And I'll just add, because I lost my dog this year as well, which we chatted about, and it dawned on me the other day. I was talking to one of my daughters, because we were chatting about those new frames that we got, the digital frames, and occasionally photos of Sammy will pop up, and Riley said to me the other day, she's like, I miss Sammy.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, me too, kid, because I got Sammy, and like the memory just popped up on my Facebook the other day that I had adopted her on December 4th in 2010. And I realized that this is the first Christmas in 14 years that she hasn't been there. And that really hit. But then I saw something that somebody posted on our Facebook group the other day, and I think you saw it as well, about like, just remember that between hello and goodbye, there were just like so many great memories and laughs and all these things. And it's so true, and we've chatted about on the show. It's like, that's sort of the bargain we make as humans, right? Is that, we know
if
that
you're going to love something, you're going to lose it. Eventually.
And the reason that we feel so much is because we had so much great stuff. Yeah. So we thank you, Brittany, for being so open and raw and honest back with us about your feelings. That means the world that we provided a space where people feel safe to share that. All right, one last email. This one's coming to us from Hey Barbie. It's actually just Barbie, but I had to say Hey Barbie because isn't that what they just say in the movies? So, Hi Barbie. Yeah. Like everything's Hi Barbie. Anyway, this email came in response in our last episode. I was like, if this thing has ever happened to you, reach out.
Sure.
So somebody sent us an email in response to that. And Barbie says, yes, some Scrooge stole my Christmas candy canes too. The feeling when I discovered the theft was really deep. It wasn't the cost of them. It was the theft of the magic. I only hope it gave some happiness to someone somewhere. My real feeling is that there must be an international syndicate selling them on the dark web.
And hers was candy canes too.
Yes.
So it might be.
Which the irony of all this is not lost on me, because what is the song that I'm obsessed about? And
Candy Cane Lane.
And I sing it.
Yeah.
All the time. Even in our music video, I realized
they're trying to steal your joy.
They're trying to steal my candy. I'm just trying to take a trip down Candy Cane Lane, and now all I got is a lane. I got no candy canes. But here's the good news.
Okay.
I sent a photo to the boys the other day. I went to Dollar Tree where I got those candy canes, fully expecting that because I got them like a month and a half ago, they were going to be gone.
Yeah.
But there was a whole box of them at the front. So swipers, be darned.
You lose.
You lose.
He wins.
I win. And you better believe every morning I'm checking when I walk out
Did you adjust your camera a little bit to like cover that dead spot?
I thought of putting out a sign.
Don't take these.
Have you ever like walked by like a house where like they'll have a camera that's like, you're being watched, or smile, you're on camera.
Yeah.
I thought about putting like a little sign over there of like maybe like a picture of Santa that's like, remember, I see when you're sleeping.
That's
I
right.
know when you're awake. Just to remind maybe that punk who swiped the candy canes. But good news, I have a full set of candy canes now.
Can I tell you a little candy cane story of my own here?
I would love to.
I finally put up my outdoor decorations.
Yes.
I was very late this year for that. We don't need to talk about that. There was a reason, but it doesn't matter. But I finally put them up, and part of my decorations is I have a small row of candy cane, light up candy canes, right, that I put along the driveway.
Yeah.
But they're all connected, so they're like they're not individual. It's like 8 of them, and they're all wired together.
And they like light up inside.
Yeah, and they light up inside. I'm sitting there putting them in. They are so tangled. And each candy cane has like 3 wires coming out of it. in both directions. And I'm like working it, and I'm like, okay, it's fine. This is what do we do? I don't know how it gets so tangled. I know every year that it's going to get this way, and I'm sure that when I put them away, that I was like, don't wrap anything. Just put them all together, fold it, put it in. Somehow they're so tangled. Yeah. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, oh, jeez. And I'm almost at the point of being like, you know what?
No candy canes.
No candy canes. Candy canes are done. Those are going away. Those will be trash. I'll get new ones. Literally, as I'm thinking that, and I start to jumble them up to throw them away, because it's dark out, too. I'm doing this in the dark. I got a light over my thing. I'm trying to figure it out. I hear this mom and a little girl in a stroller walking down my street, going for a little walk, and I hear the little girl go, oh, and then I hear the mom go, oh, let's see what they're doing this year. Oh. Because, like, she knows that we always do stuff, and in our neighborhood, we're kind of the only people that do it. And I literally was like, breathe. Okay, so I still have not untangled them, but I didn't throw them away. So it's a win for Christmas spirit.
I was hoping the punchline was going to be, and then I turned to her and said, well, don't get your hopes up about candy canes this year, kid. That's amazing. Dude, I have been there. I went through it with the lights for the edge of my roof, because I have like the little like connector pieces on them so I can slide them under the shingles. Yeah. And every year, like you, I'm very mindful about the way I wrap them up, because I'm like, because they have little hooks on them, and they get wrapped around the cord, and I'm like, I'm going to be very careful.
Yeah, but somehow.
And then every year I pull them out, I go, what happened? Yeah. I literally laid them in a box where they dance. It's like Toy Story, where like they like when I go away, they start like moving around in the box. But I hear you on that.
You know what else I did?
What?
With my decorations?
I know.
Bought a replacement fan. For an inflatable.
Oh, you can do that?
Remember we talked about this a couple weeks ago? I have a big, it's like a stable with like Santa.
Oh, yeah.
And it's got
I love
like
that. I'm so jealous of that.
One. And the fan stopped working last year. I think he got water in it or something. Water in it. That was hard to say.
Water in it.
It got water in it. It didn't work no more. And so I didn't want to take it totally out, because it is kind of sewn into the...
Is it full? Because all of mine are like sewn, like you cannot get them out. But I know they have some that are like blowers you sort of slide in.
Well, what I did is I bought a replacement fan on Amazon for like $12.
Okay.
And then I put it in where the zipper is, you know, because you can unzip it to let the air out.
Right.
And I just kind of zipped it up so that it was tight there. Oh. And it inflated. I'm going to say it's not amazing. It's not like fully full.
Right.
But I think it's going to work.
Did you put some tape around it to like seal
it off? I didn't, but I think I'm going to.
Because I discovered one of my inflatables this year. I didn't realize this, and I always like, you have this like at the end of the season, you're like, oh, I'll remember next year that
I'll fix that next year,
that I ripped the little anchor piece off and it's ripped, and I'll fix that November next year. I totally forgot with one of my Buzz Lightyear ones that it was ripped off, so I just put some like really strong like Gorilla Tape over it.
Yeah,
it seems to be fun.
And it works. Yeah.
So talking about Christmas lights.
Yes.
Did you like have a house in your town growing up that was like, or houses that were like known as like the Christmas house?
Oh yeah,
you did.
Big display house.
Oh yeah, like everybody talks about it. Right?
Yeah, and usually they would have a music element to them.
Yes,
it was usually synced up.
Where it's like tune into 89.9.
Yeah. Which I always thought that was the coolest thing. What is the process for that? To like call the radio gods and be like, I'd like a frequency for 3 months. I don't know how that works.
Or could we be pushing out while we're recording? For real? For anyone who drives by, like tune into 89.9, listen to Christmas Countdown.
That'd be amazing. We should look into that.
We should look into that.
But yes, I love a house that goes big, and I like it when it's... Listen, there's two ways you can look at Christmas lights.
Okay.
There's one that is the gentle aesthetic of like, ooh, the warm light, we're celebrating the season, and a lot of houses do that, and it's wonderful, and there's nothing to take away from that.
Right.
But then there is the way that says Christmas, and it just throws it in your face. And is so over the top and covers every square inch with light that they can.
Yes.
And I love that kind of house.
Same. 100%. I think every town needs them, and I think every town has them.
Yes.
So for a long time here in my town, there was a house, and I think I mentioned this in an earlier episode. We called it as a kid like the Christmas house.
Yeah.
That was it. I didn't necessarily know the name of the people, but I just knew it as the house. And it was on sort of a mainish street here in town, so like you drove by it all the time. And it was like every year at the holiday season, cars would be lining the street. People would park because you could walk up onto the driveway. You could, the way the house was sort of built is like you could walk onto like this porch area out on front. There was like a guest book you could sign.
That's great.
And they would take like donations like through the mail slot and stuff. And, unfortunately, those people aren't with us anymore. So the Christmas house is gone. But I had heard rumors swirling about town that a new Christmas house had popped up.
Had taken the mantle.
And so over the weekend, on Sunday, I was home with Riley because she was sick. And I was like, well, she can't go out and like to a public place. I want to get her out of the house.
Yeah.
So I drove over there to check it out. And Eric, let me tell you,
amazing.
It blew my mind. And it had that same feel. It almost felt like they were trying to pay an homage to the old Christmas house, because you could walk up on their property and there was this button you could press. And there's these snow machines on the roof that would blow.
No way.
And they'd specifically like carved out with decorations a part of their lawn where the snow lands, so kids can go stand there.
That's awesome.
And the snow falls, and then they have like a carousel and a Ferris wheel, and they have the music element. There's like window displays that you can walk by that they've sort of built off the side of their house.
Yeah.
It was stunning. And then, of course, you have the neighbor next door who's got the sign that says ditto,
Yeah.
Which I thought was really, really brilliant. But it made me realize, I was like, we chat about the lights that we see on our show,
Sure.
Whether it was a town you grew up in or the town we live in now. But the reality is there's people all around the world who have that house in their town. And the merry news is that there is a TV show out there that I know we've chatted about a little bit on this show, but pun intended, shines a light on these types of homes. And they are looking for homes because this show, unlike most TV shows, you could shoot sort of evergreen any time of the year. You can only shoot a show about Christmas light displays at Christmas time.
Absolutely.
And so they are currently casting to shoot this year for the next season.
Tis the season.
Yes. For Christmas light fights. So they want people to submit, whether it's you, whether it's a house you know of in your town, or maybe an adjacent town that you're like, this house needs to be on television. People need to see this around the world. So go to lightfightcasting.com, and you can either submit yourself or you can submit another to be featured on the show.
How wonderful would it be if you're a house or a family that does a big house like that, and you do all the lights, right?
Yeah.
You do it for the community. You don't expect anything back. You're just doing it for the love of Christmas. But then one of your neighbors submits you for the Great Christmas Light Fight, and you somebody shows up at your door, sort of like Publishers Clearinghouse, and they're like, "Guess what? You're going to be on TV."
It's amazing.
That would be a great surprise. So I think that I love the idea of people that do it themselves to submit themselves, but I really like the idea of neighbors being like, hey, television, you should feature this house because it's awesome.
100%. Yeah, because it shows you that like most people, like you like to put up the lights, right? You were just talking about the little girl who walked by and like hearing her reaction. And for me, when my neighbors will come out and be like, oh my gosh, you do such a great job. I do it because I love Christmas and I love the lights, but a big part of why I do it is so that way anyone who walks by, drives by, walks out of their house at night, that they get a little bit of that Christmas spirit. I think that's really at the heart of most Christmas displays. And you learn that, when watching Great Christmas Light Fight is the story behind like why people started to do it, where it started. That's like, oh, we just put up a couple inflatables the first year or whatever it is. And then I decided, you know what, I want to go all in. And they build these really cool, moving elements. It's an amazing show. Definitely check it out because I know it's on TV right now. But if you know that house in your neighborhood, again, go to lightfightcasting.com. You can also follow them on social media. They are at Light Fight Casting. You can shoot them a DM and let them know whether you are a house that you think would be a good fit, or if you know one in your neighborhood, let them know, and let's get them on TV and show the world that Christmas house in your town.
One of my favorite parts of that show is when they show where they store all of their stuff.
Right.
Because a lot of these displays are so massive, and then you're like, oh yeah, we have an entire barn in the back that is just like filled all the time with Christmas stuff.
It's amazing. It's the commitment to the season. It's the commitment to the spirit and the joy, and the show does a great job showcasing all that. So make sure you check out the show, and again, submit if you know Grace House. That would be a good fit.
Absolutely. Did we tell people that we were on the radio in Cincinnati the other day?
We did not.
If you were a part of the Facebook group, you may have seen it.
Yes.
But if you just listen to the podcast, so there's a guy named John on the radio.
He's awesome.
In Cincinnati on KISS 107.1.
Yep.
KISS FM. And he reached out to our page, our Christmas Countdown page. He reached out to both of us individually.
Yep.
He was like, I got to connect with these guys. Now, John is a Christmas lover like us.
Oh, yeah.
He sort of has started to do a thing where he dresses as Buddy the Elf and runs around Cincinnati making videos. And he was like, I just want to talk to you guys because I think you dig Christmas. And so we got to do like a full radio segment with him, which was, or multiple segments. It was a whole show.
I thought we were going to be on for like 1, 2, 3 minute break, like, coming out of commercial or whatever. And like tee up this song. But we did like 5 or 6 segments because I listened to it and it was so surreal. So the day it came out was the day that you and I were shooting the music video that we did with Super Simple Songs, which if you have not watched yet, you must.
It's such a fun time for Christmas.
You have to watch. We'll put the link in the episode notes.
Yes.
It's on YouTube. It's on our Instagram. Check it out. I was driving out to your house when it was on, so I was streaming it through the iHeart radio app, and it was such a surreal moment for me. I posted on my Instagram about it because, my first job in entertainment when, back in 2003, 2004, I worked in promotions at Kiss FM here in LA, and my job was to, like, hang banners and, like, go to, like, Blockbuster Video and throw out T-shirts and all this throwback. I know.
Yes,
I know. The Wet Seal. Like I would show up to all these places and like we'd have like a tent and we'd play music. Yeah. And I remember like the first like hit, we call them hits, right? That I ever did was an album release party for the group NERD, Pharrell's group, and they let me get on the mic, and I totally like flopped. Did I ever tell you this story?
No.
I didn't know who NERD was.
Okay.
And so, but I saw like, it was at Tower Records, the old Tower Records on Sunset Boulevard. And I saw like the band's name on the marquee. And so they're like, Danny, why don't you like do like a break? 'Cause there was like a sea of people were there waiting to meet Pharrell, and like the tour bus was there and, Pharrell's there. And I was like, where are all my nerd fans? Nobody made a noise. And JoJo, who was one of the on-air guys at that time, he like whispers in my ear, goes, it's NERD. And I was like, ha ha, gotcha. NERD fans, make some noise. And like everyone cheered, and I'll never forget that. But I remember in that moment, I was like, gosh, I felt so alive. Sure. It felt so electric to just be like me and to just like see these people like say, make some noise and people scream. Like I just thought it was so cool. And I was like, how amazing would it be if I was on Kiss FM someday? Yeah. And I never got to be on air at Kiss because it's the #1 radio market in the world, #1 station. That was kind of lofty goals as a 21-year-old kid. But how amazing that 21 years later, through this little podcast that we've created, that I got to be on Kiss FM.
Kiss FM.
It was amazing.
It was awesome. They let Danny do the call sign.
Yeah.
In the episode, which was
I was
awesome.
like, Cincinnati's #1 hit music. I was like, oh my gosh, Mom, I've made it. We'll find out. They sent us the audio. Maybe we'll put it up like on our Patreon, but make it public. So anyone who wants to go listen to it, you can. I think you can also look up John and Friends on the iHeart app because they release his show as a podcast as well. So you can check us out there. But it was super cool experience, and I'm really grateful that he took the time to reach out and have us on the show. It was
good guy.
Very, very cool. So our guest is going to be here momentarily. Yes. But before we bring them in, I did something over the weekend. Okay. Again, I mentioned Riley was sick, and I was like, I got to entertain a 3-year-old, a very active 3-year-old. And I did something that I realized as I was doing it, I was like, I don't think I've ever done this at Christmas time before, like me. Okay. Baking Christmas cookies. I know.
What?
I'm not a baker. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not, I'm like, ooh, what fun little cake am I going to make today? Like, I never got into it. And like people around me were always the ones baking cookies.
You were a consumer.
I was, but not a big sweets guy. So like it was
not a big sweets guy.
It was kind of wasted on me. But that Christmas cookie dough we bought up in Big Bear, it was sitting in my fridge. And I was like, let's make some Christmas cookies. Yeah. So Riley and I baked Christmas cookies together.
Did you decorate them too?
We did not. And twofold, 2 reasons why.
Okay.
One, when they came out, I was like, I don't know if they're like going to be decoratable because I didn't want to do icing and all that sort of stuff with my 3-year-old. But I did let her, after like we put the cookies in the oven, there was some dough left over. Yeah. And I was like, babe, have at it. Sure. With the rolling pin, with the flour, with, because she was doing all the cookie cutters and she wanted to do Christmas trees specifically. So I let her do all that. And then once we were done and the cookies ran, I just let her play with the dough for like 5-10 minutes.
Did you let her eat any?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. 100%.
Now, has there been an official ruling on this of the cookie dough eating?
Like, is it okay or is it not okay?
Yeah, I mean, it's supposed to, like, people always say, like, well, you get salmonella. But I
Wait,
think,
is that true?
Yeah. It's like, you're not supposed to eat cookie dough raw.
Why?
Because it has raw eggs in it.
Well, that makes sense. But on the packaging, it says safe to eat.
So that's probably fine. So there are new ways that they make it because, like, there's whole restaurants now that are, like, cookie dough restaurants.
Are you serious?
Oh, yeah. There's one over by the Americana it's like an ice cream store, except it's all cookie dough.
Oh my gosh.
So they have like chocolate cookie dough, chocolate chip, mint, all these different things, and then you put sprinkles and whatever you want on top of it. But you're essentially getting a cup of just
and
raw
they don't
cookie
bake
dough.
it. You just eat cookie dough.
You just eat cookie
That's
dough.
brilliant.
It's spectacular.
That's so. But they've like pre-made the cookie dough to sort of get around whatever.
Yeah,
the raw
and
elements
yes,
are.
and there are ways now that they make it. So yeah, it is. But I'm just wondering if you're making classic cookie dough from scratch.
Yeah.
Are we still not supposed to eat it, or do we not care?
I don't know. Like my kids, whenever my wife, they do like pancake sundaes.
Yeah.
And that involves an egg.
Yeah.
And my kids are always eating the batter.
Yeah.
Of course, my kids are always sick. Maybe this is the.
Danny's figuring some things out.
We've been trying to figure out.
What is the cause?
What is the cause? Is it the detergent? Is it preschool? Oh, no, it's that my kids eat raw eggs every single Sunday. My wife is listening to this right now going, that's not true.
That's not
It's
true.
not true.
Don't tell people that.
I didn't, honestly, I guess I just always thought it was okay.
Yeah, I think it's not okay. But
how do you get around it? Like, do they not put eggs then in?
I don't know.
Because you can't put a cooked egg.
Chris, do you know anything about this?
Chris is actually a chef, so we should probably go to the professionals on this.
Tell us, Chris.
Yeah, I dropped out of real college and went to a culinary school.
Which is kind of real college. It's vocational.
It was real college, yeah. They took my money like a real college. For sure.
Tell us what's the deal with salmonella and eggs and cookie dough?
You can get salmonella from raw eggs, though if it has a lot more to do with how the eggs are stored. You can also get E. coli from raw flour.
Oh. Is that So like just the natural flour? So it doesn't, it's not
cooked. Yeah,
and how do you make flour unraw? Is that just through putting it in the oven or cooking it?
Yeah, and cooking it.
Really? I didn't know that.
So do you know how they make edible cookie dough?
I think they kind of skirt the E. coli situation and just omit the egg.
Gotcha.
And that, I wonder if that must impact the taste. Like, I wonder if you were to do like a side-by-side taste test of like cookie dough that was made with egg.
I'll say this because I've eaten both.
Okay.
And the safe to eat does feel a little drier somehow.
Yes.
But not bad. It still tastes like, oh, that's cookie dough.
Right. But I think when you eat it with a spoon, it's good. But this is what I was running into with the decorating, is it didn't have that fluffiness in the same way that a real cookie did. It almost felt like it wanted to break apart a little bit more. That could just be because
the egg's used as a binder.
Aha. That would explain. Yeah. So when we were rolling it out, the dough kept wanting to break apart.
Right.
And
did
so
you put flour on the?
I did, and I added a little bit more, and that seemed to help.
Yeah.
To bind it, but I almost felt like that ended up drying out the cookies. So they didn't seem like if we were going to put like sprinkles or stuff when it came out, I felt like they were all just going to fall off.
Right.
The cookie.
Yeah.
So
Lisa made gingerbread cookies last night. That I'm not kidding you, Danny. These were the greatest cookies I ever tasted in my life.
From scratch?
From scratch.
Really?
I couldn't even believe it. Like, I know Lisa's a great cook and she's made stuff before that I'm like, that's delicious. But I ate these gingerbread cookies, buddy, and oh my gosh.
I feel like you've become Matthew McConaughey.
They were so good.
Right, buddy.
Listen, buddy, let me tell you, these cookies will rock your world. They will knock your socks off.
All
brother.
right.
But no, they were amazing. And you know what she did that was so good? She put finishing salt on top of the gingerbread cookies.
Ooh. What's the difference? Wait, what's the difference between regular salt, sea salt, finishing salt? Like, are they all?
She called it finishing salt.
Okay.
It looked like sea salt in that it was like bigger chunks of salt.
Ooh.
It wasn't like tiny granular salt.
Is that like finishing salt? Is it just a bigger grain, Chris?
Yeah, for sure. It's just like something you sprinkle on top to just kind of
salt
accent
mixed
the
with a
flavor a
sweet.
little bit more.
Nothing better.
Woo! So darn good.
Nothing better.
Have you been to the Disney parks since they started doing the fresh baked gingerbread cookies back at Harbor Galley?
No, I don't know what Harbor Galley is.
So there's this little tiny hut that's in between, like right across from Haunted Mansion, and sort of like as you're going up the little hill towards Tiana's Bayou Adventure, off to the right by the water.
Okay, yeah.
They serve like lobster sandwiches, they're lobster rolls.
Yeah.
But they're famous for fresh baked chocolate chip cookies. But they just added, I think for the first time ever, fresh baked gingerbread cookies that come with a cookie butter dipping cream.
Cookie butter dipping cream.
They are so good. They've got a little bit of crunch on the outside, but the whole thing inside,
gooey,
soft and gooey.
Yeah. Do you know that at Disney World, they make an entire gingerbread house that you can walk through out of real gingerbread?
Is that, which resort is that
at? Grand Floridian.
Oh, I've heard of it, but never seen it.
It's awesome.
Does it smell like gingerbread in there?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The whole lobby smells like it.
Oh, my gosh.
It's amazing.
I got to get there. I've never been to Disney World at the holidays.
Oh, it's so good.
I know. I got to change that.
And you can see Tally the elf.
Tally. Well, speaking of elves, I think we got to check in with the jolliest one of all.
That was a good segue.
Was that solid?
That was a good
Please welcome to the show, straight from the North Pole, our good friend and yours as well, Santa J. Claus.
Well, hello there, my friends. Hello there.
So good to see you.
Oh, Santa, first of all, we're so thankful that you were able to squeeze us in during the busy season.
The busiest of them all, yeah.
Well, I'm certainly honored to be here with you. I know that you are doing so many wonderful things in spreading Christmas cheer, and this is certainly something that I truly feel with all of my heart that it's very important to support. So I'm happy to be here today. It is a very busy time, as you know. My goodness, the workshop is at full steam ahead right now.
I'm sure.
That's what we were saying earlier. Is like we always catch you at full steam ahead time.
Yeah.
That seems to be when we'll reach out to you, and we promise to maybe be a little better about that in the future. Does it ever happen? Because where you're at, like in the workshop, is that like your sort of like sanctuary, your safe space? Like, do the elves, did Mrs. Claus know to like sort of give you your space, or could they possibly pop in here at some point in time while we're chatting with you today?
Well, they can certainly pop in. I think that it happens occasionally, but they also know my office is something where Santa is needing a little quiet time. Sometimes it's a little cookie break.
That's right. That's right. How are things going so far this season? Are things on track? Are we hitting all our deadlines?
Everything is on schedule. Now, this is the time, my friends, and we have to be very careful because all it takes is one silly little social media video to make a toy popular that was never popular throughout the year, and then we're scrambling trying to do something. I will tell you, we never can make enough of those electronicals now. The PS5s, the iPhones, the iPads. My friends, I remember when a spinning top was a wonderful toy to receive.
Right. That's a great point, because like even when we were kids, like you probably had a good sense as to what the popular toys were going to be, because if it was in a Toys R Us catalog, or maybe it was something that was like on, the few networks that existed.
Do some pre-production.
You could sort of keep an eye on what was being, sort of presented to all the children of the world. Now it's like it's changing every single moment, and social media, the game has changed. Are there certain things like that you're seeing as like popular items with the kids this holiday season?
Well, I will say that it's always interesting to see the ebb and flow of things, and things have a tendency to come full circle and return once again.
Yeah.
But it is always delightful to see what might be popular, what might not be popular. I have seen so many things. I don't want to name specific toys.
Sure.
But they are, I will say, a very popular thing is anything in miniature right now. There's so very much that people are talking about. One of them is a tiny little, I think her name might be Polly. Very, very popular once again.
That's right.
Very
When
popular.
you were children, my goodness, it was one of the top toys.
Yeah.
It's now back.
That's right. The Polly Pocket, right?
Yeah. And my kids love they have a whole store of miniature things. Like,
really?
It's like a mall, and literally everything. And I'm talking miniature. Like, this is like 2 millimeters tall. It'll be like a pretzel and a shirt and like all the things you would get in the mall. It's crazy.
Oh my gosh, this explains so much, because I'm sure, and we promised the letter is going to be to you in very short order. But Emerson, my daughter, just wrote her letter to you the other day, and she wants this like Disney princess miniature spa thing.
There you go.
That she's asking for Christmas this year. So she's drawn you a picture and written the letter, and it'll be coming to you very, very soon, just so you know it's official, and that's what she wants this holiday season.
I love that.
I cannot wait to read it. And I hope that you'll tell Emerson and all of your children hello, that I said hello.
Santa, can I get a special shout out? I know that you've always said hello, and I'm so thankful to Sophie and Miles, but to my niece, Serafina, and my niece Waverly. They've never gotten a shout out from Santa in this capacity. It would be huge because I know they both listen.
Well, this is my official shout out to all of them. My friends, I'm so very excited to tell you that you've made the nice list once again. I was following along throughout the year, looking at all of the adventures, and I will say there are some things that we can work on.
Sure.
But wonderful job, my friends. Wonderful job. I'm so very proud of each of you.
I love that. Santa, how's the morale with the elves right now? Do they sort of relish this time because it is go time? It is sort of the big push, or is it a sense of like, because I know myself, I get a little stressed at this time, and I'm trying to stay in the moment and remember that this is what I love. But how do the elves deal with it? Are they good at like keeping their heads about them, or do they get a little wild?
Well, I must tell you, you on the social medias and me dipping my toes into the social medias as well, there is a comment that I have seen quite frequently, and it's rather shocking to me. People will say, Santa, what a wonderful job. You work one day a year. My goodness. If they only knew it takes all year long to prepare for Christmas. If I wasn't working all throughout the year and if the workshop wasn't busy at full steam ahead, we would never be prepared in time. The elves feel this as well, but as we inch closer and closer, I think there's a little more pressure on the schedule.
Sure.
But there's also a lot more excitement as we are beginning to see the levels of Christmas spirit throughout the world rising as everyone begins to get closer to the celebration. It's a remarkable thing. I am asked often, what is your favorite part of Christmas? Well, I will say that my very favorite part is a world that is a little less selfish, a world that people are thinking of the needs of others and being more compassionate. This is the Christmas spirit throughout the season. A beautiful thing.
You touched on something really great there. You know, I think it's a good note for everyone to think of, not just when we think of, Santa Claus and all the amazing work that you and Mrs. Claus and the elves do, but, we think of like overnight successes, right? They're like something just like, oh, boom, you just became that thing, or you just made all those toys. Like, no story is like that. No. There is so much time and energy that goes into creating anything or becoming anything in this world. And I think, the more we can be aware of that and the more we can be kind and celebratory of all the effort that's put into anything that's made in this world. And think about that when we comment on social media about like how much time and energy and passion somebody put into making that thing, whatever that thing is. I think that's something important for us all to keep in mind.
And I think that we must be so very careful as well, as I know that your Christmas meters of Christmas cheer are so very high, as are mine and the elves and Mrs. Claus. There are individuals in the world right now that the stress and anxieties of the season are far outweighing their inner Christmas cheer. May we keep our eyes open for those individuals and do our best to be able to maybe give them a little extra Christmas cheer as well. It is not a season that is full of joy for everyone. And we have to be able to be attentive to those truly, especially those we care for the very most, that sometimes they need a little extra compassion and love and support.
That's agree, 100%. Thank you for sharing that, Santa. I think that's vital for us all to keep in mind, and we agree 100%. So you talked about Christmas spirit. Now, we noticed on the social medias that you recently were in New York City. I'm curious, were you checking on anything or anyone like specific while you were there? And how is the Christmas spirit in New York right now?
Well, I must tell you, New York can be certainly a magical time at Christmas. I always try to make a little quick stop before deliveries, make sure everything is going according to plan on all the wonderful decorations and festivities. And I was able to do a little walk, my friends, on 34th Street in front of Macy's, enjoying a hot cocoa. And I was also talking about our friends at St. Jude. It truly was a miracle on 34th Street.
Yes.
Also, the tree at Rockefeller Center, a beautiful sight. It was a wonderful time, a wonderful visit. But it was a whirlwind, as it is at this time of year, as I must return to the workshop and get so very much done.
Right.
I love that. Now, Santa, there's a lot of kids who are getting ready for the big night, right? You've got your job, but they've got their end of the bargain, right? And part of this bargain is you get the cookies, right? And so they want to know what cookies, because I know my kids and I know Danny's kids and I know most of these kids, they just want to make you happy. They want to give you what you're looking for. So is there any particular brand or type of cookie that would really just sort of like hit the spot for you?
Well, here's the thing, my friends. I'm going to give you the nitty gritty, as they say. I think it's a wonderful thing. There's never a requirement to give anything. This is very important to me. I do not want it to be thought of as an exchange. I'm not giving you a gift for a cookie. I'm giving you a gift because it's truly within my heart to spread cheer in this way. And what a beautiful thing when I might spot something in return. This is a gift as well, but it is not something expected.
Understood.
But I'm always so very excited to find them. Now, I will tell you, there was one year, I believe it was 1972, that I did an interview, and someone asked me what my favorite cookie was. And it was in that moment, in that interview, I don't think you can find it anymore, but there was a time where that was the one thing that I received from almost everyone. They all wanted to be able to leave out my very favorite thing. And do you know what happened?
What?
I had it so very much it became not my favorite thing.
That can happen. Too much of a good thing.
Yeah.
This is what I would love to see, is I would love to be able to try every family's favorite thing. And we speak often about cookies and milk, but my friends, you are the #1 podcast for Christmas in the world. And I will say that because of this, we also need to understand that some countries leave out cookies. Some leave out mince pies. Some countries leave out bowls of porridge. Some countries leave out pieces of bread. Some countries might leave out a sweet tamale. There are wonderful things throughout the world filled with Christmas and family traditions. And I'm just excited to be able to be a part of what families' favorite things are as well.
I love that.
That's beautiful.
Now, we do lists here, as you know. You do lists, we do lists. We have that in common. But my question is, if you had to give us a top 5 gifts or toys that you've ever delivered, do you think you could do that for us and tell us what your top 5 are?
A top 5 list of toys that I have delivered, my very top 5.
Yeah.
There are so very many favorites. How would I narrow it down? Well, I will try my very best.
Okay.
Well, I would say one of the very first that I would love to not only make but also deliver was a spinning top.
Oh, wow.
It was something so very simple, something so very easy. But I will say, my friends, that for so very long, there were children that loved to receive a little spinning top. It was a delightful, delightful thing. That would be I would say my number 5.
Okay.
All right.
Starting at
5
5.
is the top.
The top 5. My number 4 pick, I would say, would probably be a teddy bear.
Oh.
A very popular toy. This one I got at the Rockettes. It kicks. A wonderful thing. I would say also in the top 5 would be number 3, maybe.
Oh.
Would be a Jack in the Box. A wonderful, wonderful thing.
Oh, that's great.
Now my number, where are we at? A number 2.
We're to number 2, yeah.
Number 2 would be, I remember this, my friends, because both of you, I remember this, both of you. It would probably be the vintage Game Boy.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
You gave me one of those, for sure.
The Game Boy.
Tetris.
A wonderful thing. But I would say all of those were the game systems. It's especially when it first began. It was when we were first starting to try to link the idea of toys and the electronicals.
Yes.
We tried our very best. But my number 1, my top gift that I love to make and love to deliver, I would say would probably be any type of form of train. It is one of my very favorites.
yes.
This wooden train, I loved and made so very many of these. But trains now come in all shapes and sizes,
Mm-hmm.
and certainly remind me of Christmas and making gifts and delivering gifts and all sorts of wonderful things.
I love that so much. That just touched my heart. Hearing the Jack in the Box sound, like immediately, like my heart just smiled.
Yeah.
That was so beautiful.
And you're totally right, Santa, about Christmas and trains. There's something about the magic of the journey that we're heading towards the big day, that we're going towards hope, that we're going towards belief. Yeah, you did correct. You did it right, Santa. This was a great list.
I will say that with a little effort, we can take that wooden train and turn it into maybe something with a little color in it as well.
Oh, that's
look
beautiful.
At that. Paint job.
Oh, I love that so much. Yeah, we got to bring trains back.
Yes.
Trains need a resurgence.
Yes.
Like I built a train with my dad when I was a kid, and I just loved that we built this whole town together, and we would go out and pick the cars that we wanted to go on there and the people that would be in the village. And so actually last year, I bought a train to go around our tree. I always dreamed of having a train under the tree. And we bought one with my daughters last year, and now they get to be the engineer,
the conductor,
and they get to drive it around, which is really, really cool.
I love trains.
Yeah.
And there are a few homes that I deliver that they have a little flatbed on the train, and that's where I find my cookies waiting for me.
Oh, that's a good delivery system.
We might have to do that this year.
We might have to try that. That's pretty good.
That was beautiful. I love that so much. So, Santa, we know you're incredibly busy. Before we let you go, I do have one question for you. I've been seeing you sharing a lot, publicly about how Mrs. Claus has saved Christmas more times than you can possibly name or count. I'm curious, from your heart, how much does Mrs. Claus mean to you, and how does she help you keep going throughout the year?
Well, I have to tell you, my friends, it is something that it's very careful that I say this. There's a time that when I began to be a little more public, especially, my friends, when we had our wonderful individual Clement that wrote the poem after he spotted me, and the world I was able to quickly see was so very excited to learn about. 'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house I saw how quickly things would move. And it was something that we decided long ago, that we must be able to protect Mrs. Claus. It would truly break my heart if she was being talked about in negative ways all of the time. So you might see me as the face of things, but I will assure you that Mrs. Claus is just as much involved in the preparations and the planning and all of the joy of Christmas. She is a wonderful individual that brings so very much hope to my life. And I will say that she is the teacher for myself in my life when I'm needing more inspiration to be kinder and to be more caring and compassionate and loving. It is inherently who she is, and it's a beautiful thing. Do you know, the very first time that I met Mrs. Claus, a very, very long time ago, I was there to be able to feel within my heart a need to help a family. And I was there to bring some toys and to brighten the life of a family in need. And as I was approaching the front door at that time to be able to give a little surprise, as I was there face to face, not dropping in through the chimney, well, there was Mrs. Claus as well. Mrs. Claus there with a basket of cookies and delightful treats that she felt within her heart to help this family as well. We were both listening to our hearts. And it was also not only in that moment that I think it was love at first sight, it was also love at first bite, as she gave me a cookie to try. And it was so wonderful. It was a wonderful thing. So I truly have not only great love for Mrs. Claus, but I have great respect for what she does and how she supports me. It was her idea to even start the lists. And she said, "Santa, I think you should probably check them twice."
Just to be sure. That's awesome.
What a brilliant partner.
Yeah.
And what a beautiful story of how you met and this incredible collaboration between the two of you. A lifelong collaboration. It's beautiful.
Absolutely.
It's really beautiful.
Santa, we're going to let you go here, but we just wanted to say, as every year, we love you.
Yep.
We're so thankful for all that you do and all the joy that you bring to not only the children but all the people of the world, and to you keep being you. You don't change a bit, sir. And we're just so thankful, and we love you, and thank you for just carving out a little bit of time for us. And we want to say Merry Christmas, Santa.
Merry Christmas, Santa.
Merry Christmas, my friends, from my heart to yours. I truly hope with you and your beautiful families and all of your listeners around the world that you truly feel the love and peace and joy of the season within your heart. And I cannot wait, if it's not too much trouble, to be able to spot maybe a delightful little treat waiting for me on delivery day.
For sure.
You got it. You got it.
Deal.
Merry Christmas, Santa.
Merry Christmas,
Merry
Santa.
Christmas, my friends.
That was awesome. Always love seeing him.
My heart is so happy.
Yes.
The way he talks about Mrs. Claus, like, fills my heart.
You need a good lady behind the good man.
Just like an amazing partner who's like there with you, who supports you and encourages you, and like he said, inspires him and all that he does. And the story about how they met,
I love that.
Get out of town.
Both
Love at first bite.
Cookies.
That needs to be like a
toys.
Hallmark Channel movie.
There you go.
About like the wise like sort of sage guy, and he meets like it's sort of like the Golden Bachelor sort of situation, right? But
Yes,
it's
I
like
think
the
you're
Christmas version
Yes,
of it. Love
yeah,
at first
yeah.
bite. Anyway, before we get to our countdown, there was something we meant to do earlier, or I meant to do earlier, but I got so wrapped up in the excitement of it all and chatting with the man and talking about gifts, reminded me that we received a couple things in the mail.
I'm excited.
Merry mail,
What
as
do
I
we
like
got?
to call it. We got two things. How about you take one bag, I'll take the other.
You decide.
Well, given that you were wearing the green suit,
Sure.
Santa, I
take
feel
the
like,
green bag.
ooh, that's a heavy one.
Oh boy.
Now, I did pre-cut these just to
Okay.
make sure, but I didn't
That's
peek
fair.
inside. I just wanted to make it
Make
easier
sure there
for
wasn't
camera.
anthrax inside of it.
Is that still a thing?
I don't know.
Is that a Christmas podcast?
All right, here we go. This is coming from, I'm not going to say where it's coming from. I'll say Wisconsin.
From
oh,
Ann.
boy.
I think it's from Ann.
It's coming from,
Ann, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ann in Wisconsin, which makes me worried that it could be some sort of Packers.
If this now I have not opened this, so
Okay.
if this is all Packer stuff, this was not planned. Okay, I just want to say for the record.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. Opening the box right now. Got the card. Read the card
Okay.
first.
It says Merry Christmas. Let's pop this open. Oh, this is exciting. I'm excited to put a new card over here on our mantle. Oh, look at this beautiful Christmas tree on the front
Ooh,
here.
love that.
Isn't that nice?
The
Love that.
tinsel.
Whew.
Nice
That's very
card.
old school.
Nice
I feel
card.
like that's not a thing anymore, right? Like
Yeah.
the silver tinsel. Probably a fire hazard.
Little
Okay. I think I'm starting here and then going. Yes.
I think so, yeah.
Eric and Danny, Merry Christmas to my favorite podcast hosts. I've been enjoying the episodes so much this year. Thank you for all you put into them. It is not about the quantity, but the quality.
There you go.
That's sweet. And you're nailing it. Favorite season yet. Aww.
There you go.
Well, let's just retire now. As a small token of my appreciation, here's a small Christmas gift. But first, we need some explaining. Oh, she says what's in there.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to pause
So
there,
we'll pause.
and we'll read
First
the
of all, I got to
explanation
say, so
afterwards.
we got some tissue paper on the top, right?
Yeah.
But there's also some like gold garland
Yeah.
already.
It's tying into the theme of her
Okay,
card
I see
here.
I see what's happening here.
What is
I
happening?
see. The garland, I think, the garland is the handles for a gift bag.
Oh, I thought you were going
in
to say
a great looking bag. Okay.
You know what they call that kind of bag?
That's I'm going to keep this bag kind of bag.
A Judy.
Why do they call it a Judy?
Judy Garland.
That was good.
Thank you. I thought.
Ching, 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 ching.
Where's
That was
the,
good. That
Chris,
was good.
where are you with the jingle, jingle?
Chris is like, I don't know about that one. No, that's good. Oh, there's lots of things in here.
Ooh.
There's lots of things. All
Okay.
right, the first thing that we're going here is for Danny and family. There you go. I'll let you open that.
Okay. Ooh. Let's see. It is. Ooh, that.
This is for Eric and family.
Something
from
smells
Anna.
very fruit.
Ooh.
There's a fragrance coming.
Sweet chocolate. Oh, cat
Oh,
miss
my
tree. Oh,
gosh.
cat miss tree. Hot cocoa mix. Love a good pun.
Oh, this
Well
is
done.
brilliant because I talk about so much on the show how much I love coffee.
I was going to say that. Looks like
So this is some
Whoa.
Door County coffee. Oh, it's specifically a Christmas blend. Ooh, it's called White Christmas. Ooh,
Okay, this
yum.
next thing.
Okay.
This is pretty good. First of all, I'm gonna say literally this is one of the best bags I've seen in a very long time.
It's a Judy. It's classic Judy.
It's a classic Judy bag. Okay, this is a candle.
Who's that
First
for?
of all, it doesn't say.
Ooh,
This is a share
So we
candle.
have to fight over it?
Yes.
All right.
December 25th. You got your nice little date on the top.
Yeah.
Christmas. It's a Christmas countdown
Oh
candle,
my
and it's
gosh.
spiced, warm, rich. Let's see here.
Is it good?
That is amazing. It almost
I need to hit it.
It is spiced. It is warm. It almost has
It is spiced. It is
a
warm.
beachy feel to it, and yet still Christmassy.
You know what this smells like? Dude.
Doesn't it have a beachy kind of feel?
We talked about this during a bonus episode. This smells like Abercrombie and Fitch.
It does have a little Abercrombie.
It wasn't remember they had that fragrance it was called like Rage or something like that. Dude, smell that and tell me you're not immediately transported to an Abercrombie and Fitch in the mall.
I was going more
2000.
to like a coastal beach house with like a Christmas
so it's a Hollister.
tree. Danny. I love that. That smells really nice.
Dude.
That is a great candle. All right, now you can read the card.
Okay, well, maybe the card will reveal who gets the candle.
Let's see.
Maybe if I was like, you must actually fight for this. All right.
Put it on camera. Social content.
Everyone will love it. But first, we need some explaining. The candle. I bought this last December. Last December. How perfect. After listening to the candle sniffing bonus episode...
Yes.
I can't predict what you'll think of this one. It's a masculine.
Yes.
It is masculine. Oh, I guess that's the end of that sentence. Because there's a comma there, and I was like,
it is masculine.
It is, but it is masculine. The coffee. Don't worry, Eric. This is for Danny. White Christmas brews from Door County Coffee Company is a piece of my Wisconsin Christmas. I wanted to share it with you. Yeah. I also included a few other festive flavors. Danny got the coffee. So, Eric, I discovered Door County Coffee also makes hot chocolate.
Yes.
Hopefully it's good. Insert laughing emoji here. I also wish it was cows and not cats.
That's right, though. I understood the reference. I see where you're going with it.
And she says, anyway, look at me rambling like you two do as well.
Ramble? Us?
Never a rabbit. There's never been a rabbit hole we haven't gone down. The best, and this is from Anna.
That's amazing.
In Wisconsin. Thank you, Anna. But there's no clarification about the candle.
And I don't think we can light it in here.
I feel like we might get shut down if we
may
did
have to
that.
rock, paper, scissors it.
That's okay. That's fair enough. I feel like maybe on the finale, we'll figure out.
Good
Emilio,
teaser.
Chris, maybe that'll be the prize for the game. We'll actually have
I like that.
A game prize.
I love that.
So amazing. Thank you, Anna. That is so incredibly sweet of you.
Merry Christmas.
Right. Merry Christmas. This next one is coming to us from Venice Beach Dub Club.
Oh, nice.
Seth.
Yes.
And Seth, there is, this is like a legit letter.
Christmas letter.
I'm going to hand that to you.
Okay.
There's a recipe in there, I think, as well.
It's also on some nice cardstock, which I appreciate.
Okay,
ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas, fellas. There's so much I'd like to say, but I'll try to keep this letter short and digestible. I started listening to the podcast last season, and it really kept me company through a tough time, having just lost my last surviving family member. Oh. I'm officially a middle-aged orphan now. I listened to every episode, some multiple times, especially the Christmas Story musical backstage episode, as I somehow managed to keep all the treasured Christmas traditions alive by myself. This year, it's been my constant companion as I get an early head start on decorating. I've always had a special affection for Christmas. The season just fills me with joy and hope and makes me feel like a better person. It's nice to know I'm not the only grown-up who never outgrew Christmas magic. Anyhow, I'm a recording artist under the name Venice Beach Dub Club, and I'm releasing an original Christmas song called I Know Santa Claus is Real this Black Friday. I'd love for you to give it a listen, and I made it for all the true believers out there. You can find a QR code on the back of the Christmas cookie stickers that will take you directly to the song. Thanks for all you do, and Merry Christmas to you. Sincerely, Seth. P.S. Here's an awesome idea for a future countdown. Top 10 ho-ho-hos from film, TV, and music.
Ooh.
Oh, that's so good.
Really, really good.
Here's a sample. Clarence Clemens from Bruce Springsteen's E Street Band is in my top 5. That is a good one.
Yeah.
The guy who plays the saxophone. Could be fun. P.P.S. I'm attaching my family recipe for fresh cranberry relish.
Oh, whoa. What would you put cranberry relish? You know what would be great on? I know. If we made like little like post-Christmas like sliders.
It says, try mixing this together with mayonnaise for leftover turkey sandwiches. So there you go, Danny. You were right.
But I was thinking about how you always say you make these amazing sandwiches like the day after Thanksgiving and Christmas. And I was like, that would be delish on there. That's so kind of Seth. Thank you, Seth. We'll definitely check out your song for sure.
Yes.
And then, so here are, I think, those Christmas cookie stickers. Oh, those are so cool. There's one for you. And I'm gonna toss one to Emilio. Let's see if I can get it to you.
Dub Club.
Oh, I think that actually
VBDC.
went through frame and then flew about 15
awesome.
feet past Emilio.
VVDC.
Look at, and he's got like his logo with some great Christmas lights around it here as well. That's cool. If I was a skateboarder, I would totally put this on my skateboard.
For real.
Maybe I'll put it on my water bottle. But that's so kind of you, Seth. We really appreciate you. And then there was an ornament inside here. Ooh, look at this ornament.
That's a good
it's
looking
velvety.
Ornament.
Feel that.
I love these sort of plush. I got one like this in Edinburgh, where it's sort of like just a thinly, about an inch thick, pillowy looking ornament. And this one is a Santa Claus with a beautiful bag. With a sort of silver snowflakes on the golden bag. Ooh,
stunning.
That's a good. That is.
You know where it needs to go.
Or maybe right
on
here.
Our garland. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did we talk about this? Was it last season or season 2 about how, like, hanging ornaments on garland should become a thing?
Yeah.
Right.
I love that.
Let's see if that'll hold. Oh, I didn't realize there was another ornament there.
It's like you put it right. Like, there's a whole empty garland, and Danny put it
turned
in
sideways
front of the one ornament that
I was like, here's a perfect
here.
Spot for it.
There we go.
You're like, I am not going to Danny's house because that will stress me out. Because now good. I know how he decorates his tree.
That is good.
But yeah, I got a similar pillowy one when we went to the Palace of Versailles. We have like the logo of Versailles on there, and I think we got one when we had to see the crown jewels at Edinburgh Castle, which was cool.
I got when Lisa and I went to London last year, we got these same kind of ornaments of the 6 wives of Henry the Eighth.
Was it Henry the Eighth?
Because my daughter at the time was really into the musical Six.
Yes.
And I was like, it was 6 little, they're like 2 inches tall, pillowy ornaments, right?
Yeah.
How much do you think that would cost?
How much do I think it should cost?
Yeah.
$24.99.
It was $89.
What?
And it was one of those things where like I was standing at the register. There was people behind me, and I didn't want to be like, $89? Are you insane?
Did you go, oops, I grabbed the wrong ones?
No,
you bought it.
I paid for it.
Oh, dude.
And then I brought them home, and I was like, Sophie, these are for you, and they're very special ornaments.
Do not lose these, Sophie, ever. I got a text from a buddy of mine who's a member of Club 33 at Disneyland, and every year,
they do a big ornament.
They do a big ornament, and we buy it every single year, and usually it's pretty reasonable. Like it's expensive, but like it also feels reasonable considering how much it costs to be a member of that club.
Yeah.
And he sent me a photo over the weekend of the ornament and the price tag. It was one ball ornament. $150.
Good.
Now, there was another ball ornament in the picture, and I texted him back. I said, do I get both?
Yeah.
And he goes, nope.
Nope, just one.
And I said, well, do you have any pins? He said, no, they're sold out. So no Club 33 ornament for us this year, First World Problems.
Yes.
Anyway, Seth, thank you so much for that super kind gift. We appreciate you.
Absolutely.
And now the ornament hangs proudly here on our set. And with that,
I think we should get to the countdown.
2 hours later or whatever we're at. Where are we at, guys? How long have we been rolling here? Well, Emilio's asleep.
For a while.
No.
For a while.
Quite a while.
Chris's for a while was very loaded.
I think we've been on
for a while.
Over 2 hours. It'll cut down to shorter.
Yeah.
Not much.
But not much shorter.
Not much shorter.
But people love it. People love the longer episodes.
There we go.
I hear.
Let's do it. Here we go. Let's do the countdown.
A list.
All right, folks. The time has come. After years of waiting.
Oh, I'm nervous right now.
The multifaceted, split decision top 10 list of music from Danny and I is here.
Soul decision, some might say.
That's right.
Can I ask you something before we make the list?
Yes.
What do you think about, as we release these and the episode comes out, if we do a poll on our Instagram stories of like a bracketed challenge?
Sure.
Of like your 10 versus my 10, 9 versus 9, so on and so on.
Sure.
Until we get to one.
That's
and
fair.
there'll be one song that will rule them all.
I like that. I think that's a great idea.
Okay.
I love it. All right. So, again, I'm doing top 10 pop punk Christmas songs because I love pop punk music. And Danny's doing top 10 boy band Christmas songs. Here we go.
Because I kind of like it.
Because he loves it. Okay. So, my first one, number 10. I'm starting easy here.
Okay.
This is a great little like introduction to pop punk Christmas music.
Okay.
The band is called Hawk Nelson.
Okay.
And the song is Hark the Herald Angels Sing. It's a classic hymn, but done in a very punk rock way. Tell me that doesn't just get you like jazzed up.
Yeah.
Hyped up to like go shopping.
Yep.
To like put some lights up. To like make some cookies and go play football in the backyard.
Yes.
Like this is what my list is getting you in the mood for. It's getting you ready to like attack the season.
Holiday hype.
attack the season with holiday hype.
I love the way he said "hark," like he came.
Hark the herald angels sing. Just so great.
Yes.
And it even does a little "O Come All Ye Faithful" in the back end of that song.
Oh, does he really?
So you get 2 hymns for one.
Ooh, 2 for the price
2
of
hymns
one.
for one.
That's brilliant.
But it's in literally the same song, so I didn't cheat there. It is one musical track, so it works.
I was hoping you would cheat a little there because I was hoping I could cheat a little later in my countdown.
I have a cheat at like 5-ish.
At 5 is where you cheat?
Yeah.
Okay,
5
so I might cheat around
10, 9, 8.
7. We're 10 through 1.
All right, great. So that's my number 10. It's "Hark the Herald Angels Sing" by Hawk Nelson.
So good.
Yeah.
Love that. Kicking it off strong. All right. Okay. Here we go. I have been debating about this list up until this morning when I was driving my children to school. And specifically, I was just listening to my 10 through 6 because I was like 5 through 1, they're pretty locked, but also I can give myself flexibility because I might slot something in.
Sure.
But here we go.
10 through 6 is where you slide in the good ones.
You got to slide them in. Yeah. So as I shared earlier, a lot of boy bands, and I was kind of disappointed by this, a lot of boy bands never release Christmas songs like O-Town, as we were chatting about earlier. But in my research, I discovered boy bands I didn't even know existed, like Hometown. Never heard of them. Irish boy band.
Okay.
Big Time Rush. I heard that name, but I thought they were like
they're a Nickelodeon band.
I thought they were like a country music act.
Actually, one of my friends is like, he was on that show, Big Time Rush.
Oh, really?
And now he has a whole life as an influencer. He does concerts at colleges to like thousands of people. Steven Glickman, my buddy.
Okay.
Because he played Gustavo on
So
Big
he was
Time
in the
Rush.
group?
Well, he played their manager on the show. But they have transferred from being a TV show band that now does actual concerts.
Yeah.
And he like goes and like kind of stays in character a little bit, but like it's like a whole thing. Big Time Rush is major thing.
I mean, like maybe because like my kids weren't of like that like generation when they were big. Yeah. But JLS was another one that I found out there.
Okay.
Never heard of those guys either. They had sort of like a sultry take on a classic Christmas song. Okay. So anyway, I discovered all these boy bands in my research, but I don't think there's going to be any surprise groups popping in. You're going to be a lot of the classics you're going to get on my list here. And we're going to start it out nice and easy, okay? With a little group known as Jonas Brothers.
Okay.
Now this song, I will say, when I first made my list, not top 10. But as I listened to it over and over again, it was down to Rascal Flatts or Jonas Brothers for the number 10 slot. Now, you may not consider Rascal Flatts to be a boy band, but I do. Good-looking dudes singing tight harmonies. When they first came out...
They don't dance, though.
But neither did 98 Degrees.
Okay, fair.
They just had some sweet songs, you know? And so, like, in my mind, when Rascal Flatts first came out, they were, like, in their 20s, good-looking dudes singing some tight harmonies.
You know Rascal Flatts' lead singer was roommates with Jamie Foxx at University of Texas?
Yes. Did you share that? Was it on Parenting Countdown? One of our shows.
Somewhere I did.
You mentioned it. But they're not here in the top 10. Sorry, Rascal Flatts. It's Jonas Brothers. And the song is going to be a song that came out in 2020 during the pandemic. It's a beautiful song, one you wouldn't expect from Jonas Brothers. I feel like because they were like on a Disney show, we kind of give Jonas Brothers a bad rap. And we just sort of be like, these guys aren't musicians. They're a joke. But they got some pretty songs. And we're going to lead it off with one that has... It's very subtle. It's got a little piano going in there. You got Nick, Joe, and Kevin. Again, this came out in 2020, and it was really just about like how we all needed Christmas. And that song is going to be "I Need You Christmas." I mean, come on,
pleasant,
right?
I like that.
It's got a lot of that. Almost, I don't want to like compare them to Vince Guaraldi and the classic of Charlie Brown Christmas, but
it's got a jazzy feel.
It has it's very simple.
Sure, yeah.
I think Nick and Joe are singing on it, and I think Kevin is actually playing the keys.
Well, they got to let Kevin do something.
They got to let him do something.
For the love of Pete and cheese.
I know.
Poor Kevin.
Did I tell you I
Justice
met Kevin at Disney World?
No.
Yeah, I was there. This was like a year and a half ago. I was like, and it was still kind of like post-pandemic where you couldn't fully interact with the characters yet. And I'm like taking a...
Was he a character at Disneyland? He's
Hard
just,
times.
Hi, I'm Kevin Jonas.
You might know me as the third
Kevin
Jonas brother. No, he was there with his wife, and I didn't realize he was standing right next to me. I was like taking a video of Donald and Daisy, and all of a sudden Donald and Daisy started losing their minds, come running over towards where I'm at. I'm like, they're not here for me.
Right.
And I look over, and it's Kevin Jonas standing right next to me, and they had just released their last album at that time. And I'd listened to it, and honestly, I don't know if you listen to that album, It's pretty good. They have this song about being a parent on there that is like, it's beautiful and like very, very heart-wrenching. But I think it's such a beautiful song. I think this idea of like, you know, we're all about the nostalgia and missing Christmas and all these sorts of things. And I think they bring the feels with this one. So I got to put it number 10. I Need You Christmas by the Jonas Brothers.
Awesome. Okay. My number 9. This slot I gave to Miles.
Really?
My son.
That was generous of you.
Because A, he helps me with a lot of the lists.
Yeah.
Because he likes to do that. We love to talk through it.
That's awesome.
B, this is Miles's favorite song. Not Christmas song, favorite song of all time.
Really?
Of all songs, when you ask him in June, July, August, December, January, this is the song.
More than Perry Grip?
It is a Perry Grip song. It is a Perry Grip song. And Perry Grip, I think I've talked about on the podcast. He was the lead singer for, I think, Nerf Herder or something like that. Now he makes kids music. The song, and Chris will play this for us. You can play this from the beginning, Chris, is called Reggie the Christmas Hamster. This is his favorite song. And I got to say, Sophie and her friends also love this song.
Oh, really?
And so this is one of the songs that we jam out to year-round, even though it is a Christmas song. It goes hard. It is a hardcore, punk song, and it's all about Reggie the Christmas Hamster.
That's brilliant.
So if you have kids and you want to get your kids jacked up and jazzed up and ready to just be ready for the school day, put on a little Reggie the Christmas Hamster by Perry Grip.
That's so good.
It'll get them going.
And that was the story he was a hamster that was gifted for Christmas, or
no? He is a hamster
Christmas?
That needs to do Santa's job.
Oh, okay.
And Phil from the North Pole calls him up and says, "Santa broke his sleigh. Reggie, it's up to you to save Christmas."
That's brilliant.
And so Reggie flies Santa's sleigh and delivers all the toys to the boys and girls.
That's amazing.
Around the world.
I love it. I'm going to play that for my kids.
Yeah, I should have played it for Santa J. Claus.
I'm sure he probably knows
he
it.
Probably remembers it.
He knows every song that has to do with him. That's amazing. All right, number 9 for me is going to be from a group that maybe some people might not consider to be a boy band, but I do.
Okay.
We've talked about this on the show before in the past, that boy bands have been around since,
sure.
I think I said Dawn of Time season 1, which is a little bit of an
50s,
exaggeration. Yeah. But I think I argued that we could go back to the times of Bach and the
Backstreet Boys.
Backstreet Boys, which amazing punchline from season 1. Again, go back and watch that. But I think when it's young guys singing, dancing, performing, and so I consider the Jackson 5 to be a boy band.
Agreed.
And is there any song more peppy and exciting and get you in the holiday feels more than their version of Santa Claus is Coming to Town?
It's a good one.
It's a great one.
That is a good one.
Came out in 1970. Michael was 12 at that time. Did you know they released 3 albums that year?
No.
That was the height of the Jackson 5. They had ABC came out that year. And so obviously you had Jackie, Tito, Jermaine, Marlon, and Michael. One fun fact about the Jacksons that I love, do you know where they're from?
They're from Gary, Indiana.
They are from Gary, Indiana.
Gary, Indiana.
Exactly.
Gary, Indiana.
Which I love because Music Man is my favorite musical of all time, and that's where Professor Harold Hill is from, Gary, Indiana.
Gary, Indiana is almost considered a suburb of Chicago.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Because it's really close to the state.
It's in the
border,
northwest corner of Indiana. So, it's right over the line. So, yeah.
Have you been there?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I have.
That's amazing. But anyway, this album that they released, which was Jackson 5 Christmas album in 1970, it's got Saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus on there. I think there was a song that I want to say was co-written by, I can't get my internet is just totally gone down on my phone, and all I have is just this white screen right now.
No.
So I'm just gonna have to go off of memory. But there were some originals that were on that album as well. Obviously they sang a lot of the classics that we all know and love. I mean, it's the ultimate Christmas vibe. That album is so good. The song I was trying to remember earlier was Give Love on Christmas Day. Why don't you give love on Christmas Day? Do you know that song?
I know that one.
Oh, it's so good. It was written by Berry Gordy, was actually one of the writers of that song. But the album is great. But I just think Santa Claus is Coming to Town is such a classic. Whether you're young, old, whatever, it sets the vibe. So that's why it's my number 9.
I love that. That's a good one. All right, my number 8. We got a few left here in this episode.
Yep.
My number 8 is going to be from one of my favorite pop punk bands.
Okay.
They were on Drive Thru Records, which you may have heard me talk about. Chris definitely knows. Drive Thru Records was a pop punk label out of L.A.
Okay.
Their logo was a red arrow with yellow writing, and it just looked kind of like In-N-Out. It had like a very similar kind of vibe to In-N-Out restaurants.
Okay.
And like all of my favorite bands were on Drive Thru Records.
Really?
Like I loved them so much. And I actually, way back in the day, before I met Lisa, my plan was to move out here to LA. And I had a job lined up to work for Drive Thru Records like, in their merch department. And so my plan had been to like do that summer in Michigan right after I graduated college and then move out here.
Right.
And work for Drive Thru Records and be like a punk rock guy, right? and try to be an actor. And then I met Lisa, and she was moving to New York, so I went there with her because I thought that was a good play, and it was. But that all to be said, I love Drive Thru Records, and one of my favorite bands on Drive Thru Records is New Found Glory.
Oh, they're so good.
Such a great band.
Yeah.
I saw them play in the back parking lot of a Tower Records in downtown Chicago in like, I mean, it must have been 1998 or something like that, like a long time ago. And I just thought they were so cool, and they played, and then they came off the stage, and I like stood there next to them, and I was like, I love punk rock. I get to like talk to my heroes. It was amazing. And anyways, they came out with a Christmas record called A Very Newfound Glory Christmas in 2012. And on that record, there's a song called Nothing for Christmas, and it checks all the boxes that you want from a good new original Christmas song. Basically is saying, guess what? I don't need anything for Christmas because all I need is you. It's a sentiment that we've heard in many a Christmas song. Obviously, Mariah Carey probably nailed it best, but so it's a similar idea to that. But this one has two things that I like. One, it's got a little acoustic guitar in it.
Ooh.
2, it's a banger. And 3, so I said 2, but it's 3 things. Third thing is it has a group vocal where it sounds like you're in a pub and like everybody sing in the chorus.
Oh, I love that. Dude, that's
Isn't
so
that great?
good. Yeah.
It just feels like you're on a campfire or you're like in a pub or at a party or something like that. So good. I love New Found Glory. And you know what I love about them is some of these bands that we loved back in the late 90s, early 2000s have dissolved, and those guys have become dads and now like are not
They're
punk
driving
rockers
a UPS
anymore,
truck
right?
or something like
exactly.
that. Yeah.
But New Found Glory has stayed a band. They still perform, but they also have kind of figured out like how to, I don't want to say go the corporate route, but they like know, hey, we got to sell records. So they've done a whole series of what do they call it? From screen to the stage. Is that what they call them, Chris?
From screen to stereo.
Screen to stereo.
Oh, cool.
Where they do like movie soundtrack songs.
Oh,
so
fun.
it's sort of like, you want to hear those things. They sell really well. But yeah, New Found Glory, great band out of Florida, if I'm correct.
Coral Springs.
Coral Springs.
That's right.
What was their big hit that they had that was not a Christmas
Hit or
record?
Miss was kind of their real big hit.
Yeah.
And My Friends Over You.
Okay.
My Friends Over You.
Yes, I'd still choose my friend.
Yeah.
They still play at like Epcot, like at their food and wine festival, or like their festival of music or whatever they do down there.
I respect when somebody has figured out how to do something that was awesome in your 20s and felt very anti-establishment, but then they're like, this is our career, and so now let's figure out how to like make it work. They're still punk rock guys, but they also like, I'm sure, getting very technical, but like to be able to sing like that when you're in your 30s or 40s, like that's you're a craftsman, you're a professional singer. And like, is it Jordan, I think is the lead singer of New Found Glory, like he's got to take care of himself, so he can't just live like a punk rock lifestyle all the time. And I really respect when somebody's able to do that. So that's my number 8 is Nothing for Christmas by New Found Glory.
Yeah, you touched on something really great, and I was going to bring this up later, but like a lot of the boy bands are still together, right? Like Backstreet Boys, they just performed on the tree lighting. And Rockefeller recently, I saw them doing videos with the Rockettes. They were doing a collab with them, which was super fun. I know 98 Degrees still tours a bunch. O-Town still tours a bunch. And I think, unfortunately, a lot of people be like, oh, you were a boy band. Like, why are you still making music? But here's the reality. Like, the Rolling Stones, how long did they play music together?
Still playing.
Aerosmith, until Steven Tyler, unfortunately, had the voice issues. All the Temptations are still like a group. Granted, it's not the same guys.
Sure, yeah.
But like, why do we have this like thing with maybe pop punk rock and even like boy bands? Is it because it seems juvenile in some way?
I think part of it is that how they made their name was so associated with youth
Yeah.
and being young and like anti-establishment when it comes to pop punk, but just like being young.
Yeah.
And so there is something about, you know, even with boy bands, like singing about like, oh, I want to like date that girl. Like at this point, stop dating, get married. You know what I mean? Like
Come on,
figure it
bro.
out.
Yeah. Yeah. Have some kids. Like
Figure it
settle
out.
down a
Yeah.
little bit.
Yeah.
But it's interesting, right? Because it's like, hey, all these groups were making music for all these years. Let's
Sure.
just let them continue to
Yeah.
make music. And if they're making money, doing what they love, isn't
Good
that the
on 'em.
dream for all
Good
of
on
us? Anyway, I just want to get that off my chest. More justice for pop punk rock and boy bands is really the moral of the story. All right, so number 8, I'm not cheating because I'm only going to play one song.
Okay.
But I want to call out 3 songs on an album in particular.
Okay.
And it's an album
Chris went.
from 1997.
Okay.
Name of the album, Snowed In, by you know him, you love him, Hanson.
Hanson. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Very good. They're
this-
still making music.
I mean, think about like how young these guys were, and they weren't just like a band who like got formed and put together. Like they're brothers.
Sure.
They wrote so much of their own music, and that's why I want to call out 3 songs here, is because on their debut Christmas album, when they were, I want to say like, you know, Taylor was probably like 14 or 15 at the time, and Zach was probably like 12, you know, the drummer. They wrote 3 of the songs on their first Christmas album. And those songs were Everybody Knows the Claus, Christmas Time, and At Christmas. The album is awesome. You know, it features so many Christmas classics that we love, like Merry Christmas Baby, What Christmas Means to Me, Little Saint Nick, and so much more. But I want to call this out because again, it goes back to this idea of like, I feel like, you know, boy bands get a bad rap. But I think when you think of Hanson, they've had incredible longevity. They started their own label. They published their own music. They still play music to this day. Did I tell you about the time I met them in Hollywood? Does that ring a bell?
No, I
to
don't
you?
think so.
It was years ago. I was working for American Idol, doing this thing called American Idol Underground, where I was like sort of like the Ryan Seacrest, like doing all their like, you know, interviews and all that stuff. And we had flown this band out to like do a showcase, and they were staying at this hotel on Hollywood Boulevard, and I went and hung out with them that night. And when we went to like just go walk around Hollywood Boulevard, because these guys were from the Midwest, they'd never been to LA, Hanson was unloading their like trailer. And when I say Hanson was unloading their trailer, I
They
mean
were doing it
Hanson
themselves?
it was them
Nice.
pulling their guitars, their drum cases on Sunset Boulevard, loading into a hotel. And so we got to chat with them for a bit. They were super gracious. And then I met another celebrity moments after that outside a cigar shop. That celebrity, Mike Tyson.
There you go.
And just as gracious and just
Random
as
day.
Random day. But I want to give some love to Hanson. I'm so impressed by all the music they made over the years, how they have again managed to keep making music and doing what they love from their teenage years all the way up into adulthood and being parents now. So the one song that I would like to play in this moment is going to be Everybody Knows the Claus. I mean, for like a late 90s
funky.
song by like a 12, 15, and like a 17-year-old, pretty darn good.
That's funky.
Yeah, so
I like it.
highly suggest you go listen to Snowed In if you haven't recently, and give some love to the boys of Hanson.
I love that. All right, I have 2 left here.
Okay.
This one is good. This is a cover.
Okay.
This is a band that I'm not super familiar with. They're a Toronto-based Christian rock punk duo
Okay.
called FM Static. But
Okay.
they have a version of one of my favorite Christmas songs. Get ready to cry, everybody. It's Christmas Shoes.
Oh my gosh! Really?
It's a punk version of Christmas Shoes. Amelia, do you know Christmas Shoes? Okay, Emilio, get ready for your heart to break. My son did not know this song either, and I played it for him this morning on the way to school.
Yeah.
He was crying within seconds. This song is all about a little boy who's in line to buy some shoes for his mom. And he doesn't have quite enough money, Emilio, because he wants to buy some shoes in case his mom goes to meet Jesus tonight because she's dying. And this song is sung from the point of view of the man standing behind this poor little boy who's trying to buy some shoes in case mama meets Jesus tonight. It's so sad. I'm only laughing because it's so sad.
It is such a sad song, yeah.
beautiful, beautiful song, but incredibly heartbreaking. It's like, and you just have to imagine, in the original version, I think you imagine the little boy as like a 7-year-old boy. But in this one, just imagine being a little bit more of an angsty 14-year-old boy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What do you think about that, Emilio?
I don't know what to think about that one.
Is
You
that
have
a
to let
loss?
that all wash
I
over
gotta
you.
let it
Yeah.
wash over me. I'm picturing like Billy Joe Armstrong
Yes.
in like his American Idiot music video attire.
Yeah.
Yes.
But really, really like a kid.
Yeah.
And like can't even see over the counter.
That
and
is
he's
exactly
just
it.
looking at
You're
this
there.
guy.
And look, you're at a shoe store right now. That's so amazing, Emilio.
There he is. And they sell nothing but red shoes. Isn't that wild? Have fun making that one, Emilio.
Oh, my gosh.
I almost think I prefer it as a pop punk rock song over
It is.
the original.
So the original is by a guy named New Song, I think. And that is really like saccharine.
Yeah.
It's very... Mama meets Jesus tonight. It's very...
Yeah.
It almost feels manipulative.
A little
but
bit.
This feels like a true story of...
It sounds like an
hard on
angsty
his
kid
luck.
trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
But
Great
I love
choice.
it.
I love it. All right. This is when we're really getting deep into the boy bandness of it all. I'm sure many people are shocked that I haven't mentioned this group yet on this countdown. And frankly speaking, I could probably put together a top 10 just of Christmas songs by NSYNC. I think their was it Home for the Holidays was the album that the Home for Christmas, is the one that everybody knows.
Sure.
I love every song on that. I listened to it while I was wrapping gifts as a teenager. But the song that I'm picking is one that is not off of that album. Many people think it's off of that album. Even Spotify, when you go to play it, it pulls up the art from that album, but it is not from that album. The song is called I Don't Want to Spend One More Christmas Alone. And it came out in 2000. It was a part of a compilation record called, I think it was called Platinum Christmas, if I remember correctly, the name of the, I remember that? Platinum Christmas, yes. Now, many people know, like a song Britney did came off of that album called, what's the name of it? It's called My Only Wish. You know, Santa, can you hear me? I have only one.
Yeah, I know that one.
So that song was on there. A bunch of other songs by Monica and Joe and Christina Aguilera, Dido, Jars of Clay, TLC, like all the bangers of like the late 90s, early 2000s.
Sure.
But this ballad by NSYNC, it hits. And I almost feel like it's like sort of flown under the radar, or at least that's what I think, because most people think of like Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and some of the other songs that are off the album. I thought it was an under the radar song, but when I was looking it up on Spotify, it has over 12 million streams. So clearly the diehards,
People like it.
like me, know about it. I think it's a beautiful ballad. It so perfectly encapsulates what NSYNC did so great, which was a little bit of Justin, a little bit of JC. Everyone sings together a little bit.
Everybody else be quiet.
Yeah, you guys be quiet for a while, and Justin and JC are going to bring it in, and then you guys can harmonize a little bit on the chorus, and then JC is going to give us the bridge. Justin's going to give us some riffing. We'll bring it home. We're going to sell 3 million of this. Don't complain. You're going to get a paycheck. But before we share this song, impromptu question for you. Mm-hmm. As I was researching this, I realized there are so many songs with the word Christmas in the title. Mm-hmm. And I never thought about this before, but how many songs in the history of music that's been published, have had the word Christmas in the title? I looked it up.
You have a number.
And now I want to ask you guys, all three of you here, to guess without going over how many total songs that have been published and released have the word Christmas in the title. We'll start with, you want to go first, Eric?
Sure.
Okay.
I'm going to say 975,000.
That's a big number. Okay. Chris, what's your guess?
50,000.
Okay. And Emilio?
Are we, just clarification, are we including different versions from, if Cher did a version, then someone else, are those two separate published titles or just one?
That's a great question. One I do not have the answer to. But what is your answer?
654.
All right. So the closest without going over is going to be Emilio. The total, and Chris was so close, it's roughly 49,000 songs have been published and released. You were off by 1,000, Chris. These Price is Right rules will get you every time.
Come on.
I know. I thought Emilio was going to say $1 for a second there. But yeah, I was blown away by that. It's just incredible. Anyway, I guess what we're here to do is listen to songs. So let's listen to I Don't Want to Spend One More Christmas Alone by NSYNC.
Before I play it, I need to double check. Did you mean to say I don't want to spend one more Christmas alone, or I don't want to spend one more Christmas without you?
It's going to be the latter.
Very different songs.
Yes, I think I mixed up two NSYNC titles there, but yes, you are correct, Chris. I stand corrected. Let's listen to I Don't Want to Spend One More Christmas Without You.
Without You, okay.
By NSYNC, yep.
Oh, I love this song.
You're like, in that
this
case,
one now I know.
Yeah. They had such a beautiful formula. You always knew who was coming next because that one would riff out of the chorus.
Sure.
And all of a sudden, yeah. So it's like he's warming up his engine, like to get started to come in and hit you with those sweet, sweet dulcet tones.
Yeah.
It's a classic. If you have not listened to it, highly recommend it. It is aged very well.
I love it.
In my opinion.
I love it. All right, we're to our last two for this half of the episode. Number 6. This is a new song that I was unaware of before I made this list.
Really?
But I was obviously doing some research, trying to make sure I have everything covered. This is from a band called the Wombats, which are an English indie pop band. This song came out in 2008. I like this song. It's called Is This Christmas? And it's sort of written from the perspective of a younger person sort of feeling like, everybody's like yelling about like, did you burn the turkey? And mom's maybe had a little too much wine and like, there's people coming over to the house and everybody's stressed out. But like, is this Christmas? Like, I think Christmas is supposed to be more like loving and joyful. So that's why it's called Is This Christmas? It came out from the album The Wombats Proudly Present a Guide to Love, Loss, and Desperation. And it was also on the Best Christmas Kids album in the world ever.
Really?
Which was released in 2007. And very cool, all the proceeds from the single were put towards the charity MenCap, which is a Royal MenCap Society that works with people with learning disabilities. Really good.
Yeah.
They're from Liverpool, I believe, which is where the Beatles are from. So you can hear a little bit of that kind of same sort of whine to the voice. You know
100%.
what I mean?
I love that.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one to listen to the whole way through.
Do they have a full album or just is it a Christmas album? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to listen to them. I like that so much. Actually, I like it so much I love it.
There you go.
I'll be honest. All right, before I reveal my number 6 selection, if you are not already subscribed to the show, again, as I say on every episode, if you've made it this far, especially this episode, you love what we're doing here. So make sure you tap that subscribe button, turn alerts on, so that way when new episodes drop, you get that alert, pops up on your phone. Please make sure you rate and review wherever you are listening or watching. If you're not following us on social media, please make sure you do so at Christmas Countdown Show, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, and also follow our personal pages.
Yes, please.
Right, Eric? What's your Instagram? You want
my Instagram is at Eric Pete, EricPete, and then my TikTok is at Eric Petersen 44, and Petersen is SEN.
SEN. Don't get it twisted. I make sure I always get it right when I go through with our captions, and I change it for you. And then I'm at Danny Jordan on Instagram or at _ Danny Jordan on TikTok. And you can catch us there and hear more about who we are, as humans and parents and all that sort of stuff.
We also want to say a huge thank you to Holiday Experience here in the Simi Valley Town Center. You can follow them at Holiday_Experience 24. Remember, they have 1 million lights, 50,000 square feet
so stunning
of holiday goodness. They're open through December 22nd.
So get out here.
And check out the festive fun.
Yeah, they've added, I don't know if you noticed, they keep adding stuff.
I know.
Every time we come back, there's more lights. There's more like decorations. There's more backdrops.
Talking reindeer,
It's a great place. Come get photos of your kids you can hold on to for many seasons to come. So thank you to Jason and the team for hosting us. With that being said, we're to my number 6. And this might be the first time ever in the history of me putting together a list that has anything to do with boy bands where I would slot Backstreet Boys ahead of NSYNC.
Ahead of NSYNC.
I know. I feel like you were...
Scandalous.
There was a clear line in the sand.
Sure.
You were either Team NSYNC or you were Team Backstreet Boys. I feel like there was rarely... I don't know of anyone who was like, I like both. Equally.
I like both.
Equally?
Yeah.
Really? You didn't have a preference? Like if you could only listen to one boy band...
Oh gosh, what would I do?
How would I choose? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I liked Backstreet Boys and I liked NSYNC.
You didn't have a preference.
I don't think so.
If you could go to one of their concerts, if you could hang out with
NSYNC, I guess.
Obviously, of course, they were the better entertainers.
Sure.
I just think their music was catchier on. I mean, look, no hate on the Backstreet Boys, and I'm slotting them here at number 6, and it's going to be a song that was also on that Platinum Christmas album. If you've not listened to that, it's on Spotify. Stream it. If you're a 90s kid or you just want to know like what us old people were listening to, go listen to that when it's on Spotify. Or if you're a young kid and you're like, what were my parents into? Perfect example is
Can I just tell you something about 90s kids?
Yeah.
Us being 90s kids. I just went with my daughter last night to a store called Addicted, but it was spelled EDITED. TKED.
Okay.
It's like a clothing store for tweenage girls or teenage girls,
Okay,
right?
so like a Charlotte Russe sort of vibe?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Okay.
But literally everything that we wore is now cool again. It's like the only thing I haven't seen is like bum sweatshirts and IOU sweatshirts, but they all look kind of like that. They have stuff with like, you know how like the Looney Tunes, like the Taz and Bugs Bunny,
Where they were like homies.
wearing like, you know, backwards, like
That's back?
Yes. This is what the kids wear. They wear big, huge, baggy jeans. They wear the stuff with the Looney Tunes on it. They have kind of faded like NASCAR shirts, and like there was no fear. They were selling no fear shirts. I was like,
did they have the guy like did they have Bad Boy? Is he back?
Probably yes. That whole look of all of those types of clothes, that is what teenagers wear right now.
Oh my!
It's crazy.
I've seen the jeans, and I'm like,
it's crazy.
And I'm like, wow, you guys are dressing like us, but I didn't know what the Looney Tunes thing. Does the back of the shirt have
the back of them? Yes.
Oh
yes,
my
the whole
gosh.
Thing.
We all had
they were
that
dressed
shirt.
like crisscross. It was awesome.
So if you think you're cool, kids, you are not.
We were cool first.
We are cool. I love how I was like, you're not. That was so.
We were cool first.
That was so dorky of me.
All right, give us your selection.
Anyway, so it's gonna be Christmas Time by Backstreet Boys. The song was on that album, Platinum Christmas, in 2020, but it was actually premiered in December of 1996. I don't know if you remember, a lot of the boy bands, the early ones, BSB and NSYNC, started in like Germany and Europe before they came over here to the US. And BSB, they debuted this song on a show called RTL in Germany. And did you know, fun fact.
Request Total Live.
There it is. It's come full circle. We are back to Germany. But did you know that until this last Christmas season in 2023, Backstreet Boys had never released a holiday album? But they did it this last year.
Thank God.
Finally, the people have been clamoring for this for years and years. But this song, not on that album, but it was released back in 1996. So let's maybe start around the 2-minute 47-second mark. Chris, and you'll understand why, because there's a nice key change that happens here.
I do love a key change.
And Brian comes in.
That's good.
It's a banger.
That's catchy. I'll give you that one. That was good.
When he hits that key change, you know there's boy band magic coming your way.
Now, here's what I realized we should have done on this, and maybe we'll do this for the top 5, is I should have asked you to sing what you think my song is going to sound like, and I'll sing what your song is going to sound like, just not knowing. That would be funny. That would be funny. Maybe we'll do that on the next episode.
Yeah, maybe for a couple of them. That'd be super fun.
But folks, this was a super fun countdown to do. Thank you to Danny. Thank you to Emilio. Thank you to Chris. We have one episode left, folks, in this season 4 of Christmas Countdown Show. So make sure, like Danny said, rate, review, follow, tell your friends, get everybody here for the party for one last episode, which will be next week.
Yep.
We're almost to the big day. Get that shopping done.
Yes.
Love the people you're with. Reach out to somebody tonight or today that you think, I haven't talked to that person in a while, but it's the Christmas season.
I agree.
And if you can't do it now, this is the time to do it. Just tell them, hey, how you doing? Thinking about you. Hope you're well.
I love that.
But we're going to close this one out the way that we always do, by saying a very heartfelt Merry Christmas.
And Happy Holidays.
We will see you on the next one.
Bye-bye. Harmony. That should be the word for this episode. Harmony.
Harmony, that is pretty good.
Hey.
That is good.